All right, guys, serious business going on here. Serious business going on. We are wrecking a Fed slop narrative in real time. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I hope you intend to stay for a good little while on your way in. Boop, poke that little like button. It'll help us out here on the Real Baron podcast. I am Baron Coleman. See, I'm learning. I'm supposed to say my name every now and then. We got a big show lined up for you. We've got a big show lined up for you guys. I'm telling you, this has been a big week in the Charlie Kirk investigation, the decentralized investigation. We've been using the resources of other people to help inform our investigation. We're going to do that again tonight. I started looking at something. I'll get to all the opening and everything. We got a whole show lined up, but I started looking at something in particular today. Well, started yesterday, but I really dug into it this morning, and I realized something doesn't add up here. We've been lied to yet again. Not only were we lied to about the timing Tyler Robinson turned himself in. Not only were we lied to about whether or not Tyler Robinson drafted a Discord confession when that's all they had at the time. We will learn today, have been lied to about another key piece of evidence that has been referenced by the prosecution and the FBI and the governor of Utah. And it's a lie. It's not true. And more importantly, it implicates one of the witnesses whose name we all know. So I'm going to get to that. This is going to be a big show. Now, we've had to cull some stuff out at the last second. Honestly, the run may still actually be being developed as we speak. Let me look at it here. We've had to cull a little information right at the top of the hour here, right before we get kicked off. Not because we don't believe in it, but because we want to double check a couple of things first. I am running down a pretty big lead. It's a big lead, and I'm hoping by Sunday night we've got it nailed down. It's a pretty big lead that is going to build off of the types of things we've talked about, people where they were when they were there, and what was going on around them, around the country, even while they were there. So tonight's going to be a big show. This whole week has been huge. We've been devastating the Fed slop narrative. I think anyone at this point who still pushes the Tyler Robinson was a lone shooter and was not working in coordination with any federal agencies, intelligence agencies, government actors, other individuals, overseas participants, anyone still pushing the lone shooter narrative is nonsensical. It's moronicity is what it is. Moronicism. That's the right word. So we're going to get into all of this, and we're going to just plow ahead. We're just going to plow ahead. We're like a bull in a china shop right now. We are just going to destroy. And people who are sitting there eating their Fed slop and really enjoying their Fed slop, we're toasting them. You notice how quiet they've been this week. You notice how quiet the Fed sloppers have been this week. Andrew Colvette's like, woo, we're off on my plane. Not forever, big boy. Not forever. Erica Kirk's like, woo, they're finally not talking about me at my mom's appointment. Hey, old gal, that's still on the radar. We can still prove it, and it's going to happen soon. But we can only cover so many things in a given day. There's only so many things I can cover in a given day. And right now, we've got a story that I think is going to be pretty doggone good. All right. I also have a very fun opening. It's a story I've wanted to tell for a while. I tried to be neutral on these openings. I give you a little bit of an indication of where I lean on these things, but I'm not going to just go in and give my personal savage take on these openings. I try to be pretty down the middle. And somebody commented yesterday and said, I'm using your opening statements for my homeschool curriculum. Well, good. They're that good, if I do say so myself. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to look your kid in the face and say, it's not just a ranting lunatic throwing his opinions out there. He's giving facts. And tonight is that. It took me a lot of restraint. I had to cull a lot of information out of the opening because I read it 2 or 3 times. And in fact, Daisy called it one time and said, hold on, I'm re-editing this one last time. I had to keep pulling information out because it was too one-sided. So I've tried to kind of play it down the middle, maybe a little bit my way. But I'll get to the opening statement in mere moments. Let me get it set up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited about today. I'm excited about this week. This has been a big week. If you are a Tyler Robinson relative, if you're Tyler Robinson, an attorney, there's a lot for you to grab from this week to demonstrate Tyler Robinson was set up. I'm not going to say what I think, I'm trying to be pretty factual. But Tyler Robinson was set up. There were things happening. You have been lied to, and we prove it time and time again. And we're going to do it again tonight. All right, here we go. This is your opening statement. And it's a fun one. Louis Jolyon West. Louis Jolyon West was one of the most influential and controversial psychiatrists of the 20th century. He went by the ironic nickname Jolly West. Almost sounds like a figure who would play Santa Claus at the local department store. Jolly West was a charismatic, larger-than-life figure who rose rapidly through academic and military ranks to become most considered America's leading expert on brainwashing. Coercive persuasion, he called it. Also weighed in on things like cults, substance abuse, violence, and extreme psychological states. His career spanned Cold War intelligence work, high-profile criminal investigations, and ambitious and often criticized research programs. Jolly West was deeply entangled with the CIA's Project MK Ultra, which was the agency's notorious mind control experiments involving LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and some other controversial techniques. He embodied the era's blend of legitimate scientific inquiry and ethically questionable government-sponsored research. While mainstream psychiatry remembers him as a prolific researcher who advanced understanding of trauma and human behavior under duress, he should probably be remembered as a shadowy operator whose work blurred the lines between therapy, experimentation, and manipulation. His involvement in several landmark cases, including the evaluations of Jack Ruby and Patty Hearst and indirect links to Sirhan, highlight how his expertise shaped public narratives around higher stakes investigations. He often was the driving force behind lone actor or diminished capacity explanations in high-profile cases. And this fueled persistent questions about a deeper orchestration. Jolly West was born in Brooklyn back in 1924. He was born to Ukrainian Jewish immigrants. He grew up in modest circumstances. He enlisted in the Army during World War II, and the Army then funded his medical education at the University of Minnesota, where he earned his medical doctor degree in 1949. After a psychiatry residency at Cornell University, which also was an MK Ultra linked organization, frankly, he joined the U.S. Air Force, rising to colonel while serving as chief of psychiatry at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. By 1954, at the remarkably young age of 29, he was appointed a full professor and chairman of the Department of Psychiatry, Neurology, and Behavioral Sciences at the University of Oklahoma College of Medicine. He stayed there while continuing his military consulting, and that's important. The rapid ascent coincided with his emerging expertise in brainwashing. Brainwashing was a term that first gained serious traction during the Korean War. Jolly West studied returning U.S. POWs. These guys had confessed to atrocities like germ warfare. His research framed those confessions as false confessions and the product of coercive persuasion rather than treason. This helped exonerate dozens of airmen from court-martial. This work caught the CIA's attention, and they positioned West as a key asset in the agency's efforts to understand and counter communist interrogation techniques. Jolly West's formal ties to MKUltra began in the 1950s. While at Oklahoma and serving as a contractor for Sub-Project 43, he received a tidy sum at the time, $20,800, a CIA grant that had been funneled through fronts like Geschichter Fund. His handler was Sidney Gottlieb. Sidney Gottlieb was the program's notorious architect. He's a monster. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. That part right there was one of the lines I took out, and I've added it back in just then. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I overrule myself in the middle of an opening statement. Jolly West proposed experiments combining LSD, hypnosis, and sensory deprivation to explore dissociation, suggestibility, and mind control. Declassified documents from the era and his own archives Reveal, he advocated for psychic driving. This is the repetitive audio message delivery technique. And you do it with somebody under drugs or hypnosis, and it implants ideas in the brain. He studied techniques for breaking down or reprogramming individuals. One infamous 1962 experiment at the Oklahoma City Zoo involved injecting a 7,000-pound elephant with a massive LSD dose, roughly 1,400 times the typical human LSD dose. He wanted to test the effect on large animals. Well, the effect was the elephant died in agony in just hours. West, reportedly still under the influence of his own LSD dose, performed the autopsy. In the late 1960s, he operated a CIA-funded clinic in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury district, ostensibly studying the hippie movement and drug culture, but it just happened to tidily and neatly overlap with the Manson family in the area. Some followers reportedly sought treatment there for STDs and pregnancies. Jolly West's research extended to sensory deprivation, cult dynamics, sleep deprivation, including the nationally publicized 1950s experiment with disc jockey Peter Tripp, who was kept awake for 200 consecutive hours. He consulted for the Air Force, the VA, the National Institute for Mental Health, and the Peace Corps, and testified on brainwashing and opposing groups like Scientology. In 1969, he moved to UCLA as chairman of psychiatry and a director of the Neuropsychiatric Institute, a role he held until 1989. It was there he proposed the controversial Center for the Study and Reduction of Violence, which envisioned psychosurgery, chemical interventions, behavioral modification, all to predict and prevent interpersonal violence. Very controversial. Public protests and ethics concerns led to its defunding in the early 1970s. West also authored extensively on alcoholism, terrorism, and cults, and maintained a public image as a civil rights activist and death penalty opponent in select cases. His most scrutinized work involves court-appointed evaluations of famous defendants, where his MK Ultra-honed techniques may have influenced the investigation and even the outcome of the trials. In the 1950s, he evaluated an airman named Jimmy Shaver. Shaver had been accused of criminally assaulting and murdering a 3-year-old little girl near Lackland Air Force Base. Under hypnosis and sodium pentothal, known as truth serum, Shaver confessed after claiming amnesia. Jolly West's testimony helped secure his conviction. Shaver was executed in 1955. Later revelations raised suspicions. For example, all the records under S in his files where Shaver would have been were missing. Some researchers speculate undisclosed LSD was used to obtain a confession. The case exemplified his liberal application of chemicals and hypnosis, potentially contributing to a rushed or manipulated outcome that closed the investigation without proper scrutiny. His most high-profile involvement came with Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby indisputably shot Lee Harvey Oswald in the immediate wake of the JFK assassination. He did so on live television. In April 1964, Jolly West was appointed to examine Jack Ruby in his Dallas jail cell following an alleged suicide attempt. Jolly West diagnosed acute psychosis, a paranoid state, and suicidal tendencies, all things people dispute Jack Ruby was suffering from at all. Ruby reportedly ranted about a Jewish massacre orchestrated as retaliation for the Kennedy assassination, and that he distrusted Jolly West and claimed he had been injected. West recommended immediate psychiatric hospitalization and further interrogation under sodium thiopental and hypnosis. Those techniques, of course, mirrored his work with MKUltra. Jolly West's report portrayed Jack Ruby as delusional and unstable, and it supported a narrative of a mental breakdown rather than calculated conspiracy ties to the mafia, foreign governments, or intelligence agencies. After being seen by Jolly West, Jack Ruby rapidly deteriorated. He was a shell of himself. He eventually died just 3 years later while appealing his conviction. It's not hard to note West's prior CIA connections and the outcome of the examination. The examination effectively reinforced the official story's closure. It helped limit further probes into Jack Ruby's motives or networks. Jolly West also played a central role in the 1976 trial of Patty Hearst, the publishing heiress kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army. We covered that in an opening statement a few weeks ago. The court-appointed Jolly West conducted over 23 hours of interviews and produced a 35-page report. He testified for the defense that Patty Hearst was a classic case of coercive persuasion. She'd been subjected to isolation, sleep deprivation, intimate abuse, and ideological indoctrination. He likened it to POW techniques he'd studied. Jolly West argued Hearst suffered from diminished capacity and acted under duress, not free will. The jury convicted her anyway, but his testimony kept the brainwashing debate alive in public discourse. After the trial, Jolly West published articles urging President Carter to grant clemency, which he did in 1979. His involvement humanized Patty Hearst's transformation, shifting focus from voluntary radicalism to victimhood. It also influenced sentencing appeals, even if it didn't secure an acquittal. It also validated his coercive persuasion framework. It lent credibility to similar defenses in cult and terrorism cases. And then there's RFK. Links to RFK's accused assassin, Sirhan Sirhan, are more tenuous, but they're persistent. The primary hypnosis testimony came from defense expert Dr. Bernard Diamond, who induced trance-like reenactments of the shooting. But a lot of people insist Jolly West evaluated Sirhan, or at least consulted in the case given his expertise. Sirhan exhibited profound amnesia. He was in a trance-like state, and he claimed no memory. These are the traits echoing Jolly West's work, this Manchurian candidate scenario Jolly West researched so much. Jolly West's notebooks contained Sirhan's notebooks contained repetitive, I have a typo in there, repetitive RFK must die phrases, suggestive of psychic driving. It's my opinion, as I have said earlier on another opening statement, that Sirhan was nothing but a patsy. The fact that more shots were fired than Sirhan's gun could hold, and that RFK was fatally shot from an angle where Sirhan could not have been, make that conclusion fairly obvious to me. And while West's involvement with Sirhan is not as directly documented as Ruby or Hearst, West's profile amplifies speculation that his techniques could explain Sirhan's dissociated behavior. This potentially affected the lone gunman narrative in the RFK investigation. It's a big association. Jolly West, what happened of him? He died of cancer, January 2, 1999. He was 74 years old. His son, who is apparently a chip off the old block, later revealed assisting in his suicide and his wife's suicide. Jolly West's UCLA archives preserve extensive papers. Strangely, however, many of his MKUltra files were destroyed in 1973. In legacy, West is largely viewed to have advanced psychiatry on things like trauma and influence, despite having a shadow of legal and ethical questions hovering about over things like consent, government overreach, and whether his methods served justice or agendas. But that's a very polite reading. In my view, Jolly West is a monster. He's a monster. His work robbed unwitting and unconsenting people of their very connection to reality. Jolly West should never be celebrated. He should never be remembered fondly. And any attempts to rehabilitate or whitewash his image should be strongly rejected. And that is your opening statement. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because we're going to have some fun tonight. Man, Jolly West. I've been wanting to do that. I tried to be neutral until the last paragraph. I tried to go straight down the middle, and at the end, I was like, he's a monster. I even left out what I was going to leave out. That Sidney Gottlieb was a monster. I was going to leave it out. I threw it in there anyway. I couldn't help myself. Let's see if this tea's cooled off at all. I took a sip right before I started and burnt every aspect of my tongue. Nope. Hadn't cooled off at all. Let me pull up the top off. Get it some oxygen. Holy mackerel. Ah, there we go. Let that baby breathe. Woo! Deli, that is smoking. All right. I got to show you some stuff, guys. We got to move on. I got to show you a few things. You guys will remember. You guys will remember seeing these photographs. If you don't, we're going to get intimately familiar with them tonight. Hold on. Let me let the ad go away. Because this website is, like Jolly West died of, cancer. All right, let me see here. Let's share this screen. I've got two photos for you. The photo on the left is allegedly Tyler Robinson. The photo on the right, allegedly Tyler Robinson. They're taken from the same location. You'll notice the time difference. One of them is at 8:07 a.m. One of them is at 11:49 a.m. Why am I telling you this? Why can't we just accept that they are what they are? Oh, yeah, pop-ups. Told you it was a bad website. Here's the problem I started noticing. I'm a sunophile. You know what a sunophile is? I love the sun. I like getting out of the sun. I like feeling the heat of the sun on my shoulders. I'm always a little weirded out during the winter, frankly, when you can't get enough of it. And it's kind of low in the sky and it creates these long shadows. So I'm very keenly aware of shadow lengths and shadows and what the sun should look like. The sky just looks different to me in the fall. It looks like football season. If you grew up in the United States, you'll know that around late August, high schools start getting ready for football. Around September, people start showing up for college football games, NFL games. They tailgate a little bit, toss back a few frosty cold ones, run in, make an idiot out of yourself for 3 or 4 hours and go home. That's the great American way. But what you'll notice is, depending on what time of year it is, the sky looks a little different. The light looks a little different. And it makes sense because the movement of the earth, assuming you're a rounder and not a flatter, the movement of the earth wobbling around like this means that sometimes the North Pole is a little closer facing the sun, and sometimes the North Pole is a little farther away facing the sun as the earth spins around. And when it's a little closer, that's the summer. The shadow's a little sharper. When it's a little farther away, that's the winter, and the shadows are a little longer. But on any given day, on the same day, the difference in shadow length is going to be relative to not the tilt of the sun, tilt of the earth, because the earth is going to be tilted the same way. On a particular day, shadow length is going to be governed by what time of day it is, because we know the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So in the morning, your sun should be coming up low, casting very long shadows. It shouldn't be particularly bright early in the morning. And then it'll be overheadish around noon, 1 o'clock, depending on what time zone you live in. And your shadow will be shorter, and the sun will be brighter. So I started looking at these pictures, and I thought, something doesn't happen. I'm now re-examining everything. Now that I realize they're lying to us about so many things, I'm just re-examining everything. I started looking at this picture and thought, that wasn't 8:07 a.m. There's no way. That picture right there was not taken at 8:07 a.m. I promise you. And I'm going to prove it tonight. But we've been told time and time again, all this time, we've been told that picture on the left was taken at 8:07, and that picture on the right is taken at 11:49. I know about the sun. I know how it moves around the sky. That picture with that angle was not taken at 8:07 if that picture on the right was taken at 11:49. He's in the exact same spot. You're telling me that shadow only moved that much in 3.5 hours? No. Al contrario, senor. So I set out to prove it. First thing I did was I pulled up a shadow calculator. I'm going to do that in a moment. Then I wanted to crowdsource my work. So I went to X. Terrible decision. I went to X and I said, hey, can someone use a shadow calculator, a solar calculator, some sort of measure, and just try to tell me whether you think these two photos were taken at this time of day? What a disaster. What a disaster. I got people saying, they're wearing different hats, right? I'm like, what does that have to do with the shadows? Hey, he looks hunched over in one of the pictures. I know. What does that have to do with the shadows? I had somebody saying, what you really need to do, Baron, is calculate the speed of the necklace. Huh? You need to calculate the speed of the necklace as it flew off his neck. What does that have to do with the shadow? I asked a very specific question. This is serious business. Serious business, folks. This is serious business. I just want to know if you know anything about shadow lengths, because I am an amateur shadow length measurer. And I wanted to make sure I was using these tools right before I made an idiot out of myself at 5 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time as I go to the world and I tell them this photo wasn't taken at that time. I got very little help. I did get a few people chimed in. A few people chimed in and said, yeah, I think those shadows indicate closer to this time. I'm going to probably calculate to about a minute or two when that picture was taken. And we're going to examine what that does to the timeline, number one. But two, why the hell do they keep lying to us about where Tyler Robinson was and when? It's a real problem, people. We keep being told he's here when he's here. We keep being told he's here at this o'clock, and he's not there at that o'clock. He's there at another o'clock, if I may use that. And they lied to us again. They lied to us again, right here. So let me do first, I have a shadow length calculator. I want to show you how I did it just to see if you guys agree with me. And then I'm going to show you an actual shadow expert who actually did these calculations before I did. This is the tool I used. This is a shadow length calculator, interactive shadow projection tool. It's a very handy tool. You can come up here and you can plug in the city, Orem, Utah. It'll go ahead and calculate where the sun should be on any given time. You go over here and you can calculate the date. We want September 10th, 2025. And we can calculate the time, 8:07 a.m. Here's the problem, though. I'm on Central Time. I want you guys to realize what I'm doing, because you'll see right here it says Central Time. Because I'm on Central Time, so it's, see if I can make this a little bigger. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to make it fit like a bug shirt. Look at this. This is great. All right. So it says 8:07 a.m. Central Time, so I have to change it so that it's Mountain Time. So I just want you to know why I'm changing the time. Oh, I've got it too tight. I can't get to the time now. Hold, please. There we go. We'll use this view. So now I have to change it to 09 a.m. so that I have 9 a.m. Central Time, which would be 8:07 a.m. Mountain Time. I've got an object. I am told Tyler Robinson is 5 feet, 10 inches tall. Give or take. 9:07 a.m., September 10th, 2025, Orem, Utah. I've got a very long shadow. Why? Because the sun just rose. Oh, I got 25 feet. Excuse me. 5 feet, 10 inches. Oh, that's better. 29-foot length shadow. A 29-foot length shadow. Let's go back, ladies and gentlemen, and ask yourself if you see a 29-foot long shadow. No one sees a 29-foot long shadow. In fact, I'll show you what I've done here. You could go to Google Earth. I can find this exact driveway somewhere. I could go to Google Earth. I can find the exact driveway. I can pull it up and I can measure it because I know where this house is. Let me pull it onto this screen so we can all peep together. All right, here we go. This is this driveway right here. This is the driveway where Tyler Robinson is. Google Maps is affixed with a handy-dandy measuring tool. I can come over here and I can go to about the first crack there. It's 3 meters from the street to the first crack, 3.03 meters. That's 9 feet. That's 9 feet. Now let me clear that and show you how long the shadow would have to be 29 feet, because he's on this second paver right here. 29 feet would be somewhere over here. See how long that shadow would be? It would be all the way back here, up by the house. And we know that's just not true. That's not what happened. Because we can go back and look and see that shadow's right there. And so to me, that definitively proved it. I thought, well, there's nothing more to do. We've been lied to yet again. Now, I will show you, if we go and measure this one, I think that's pretty accurate. So let's go back to the shadow length calculator. 5 feet 10 inches. That one said it was at 11:49 p.m. a.m. So we need to do 12:49 p.m. just to keep it consistent. And that's a 5 foot 2 inch shadow right here. 5 foot 2 inch length shadow. And if you go over here, it seems to be pretty close. Pretty close. That looks to be maybe 5 feet or so. I'll go measure it in just a second. It goes from the beginning of this paver here and then past that one a little bit. So let's go back to Google Earth. Let's drop our handy dandy measuring spoon here. Clear this one out. Grab this one. He was about right here this time. We'll go back about 5 feet. That's about 2 meters. And it's about right there-ish. Maybe it's not, maybe that's not right either. But anyway, it's close enough. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. I'm not willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that first one, that the one on the left is a 29-foot shadow. But who am I? I'm just an amateur guy out here, right? Who am I? Let me go back to Google Earth for just a second. Let me pull this up over here. I want to do one more quick thing here. Let me share this tab instead. Let's do this one more time. I want to make sure these look exactly right, because this may not be the right time either. Okay, so he's about at this point here. I apologize, guys. This is serious business. He's about at that point there, and it goes back this way. Yeah, about 2 meters. That's about right. That's about right. It falls just over that one. I could go back and show you. Yeah, I will. I'll go back and show you. Notice where that one ends, and look at this here instead. Okay, so we're all in agreement that the one on the right probably could be right, and the one on the left absolutely is not right. Absolutely 100% is not right. What do we do with this? What do we do with it? Because this is a problem. If you remember, the sheriff, the governor, the charging document, they all say Tyler Robinson appeared on campus around 8-something a.m. Daisy, could you drop the probable cause statement or the charging document that lists into the run, just so I can pull it up and get to the exact time? It all says he showed up on campus about that time, 8:20 something, 8:15, 8:20, 8:30, somewhere in there. And this image appears to show that. So I asked for help on Twitter, and someone actually pointed me to an excellent video that helps clarify exactly what I wanted to show. Except I saved the wrong video. So let me go back and find it. Here we go. All right, let me pull this video up. You guys have to see this. This is great stuff. You're about to see really, really great stuff here. This guy is way smarter than I am on this stuff. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. This guy is an absolute guru when it comes to math. His name is Gray Hughes. Gray Hughes. I'll go ahead and play his intro here. See his name. Gray Hughes. Name is Gray Hughes, and he has a tool that he can use because he's a videographer. He's an excellent videographer. Highly recommend his stuff. I have no idea what he does, but he has great tools. And he's able to, because sometimes he says he gets film and they're not time-stamped. So he uses this sun calculating tool to figure out what time of day the video was taken. And it's fantastic. I'm going to let him show you him calculating and how this tool works. Because if I try to explain it, I'll screw it up.
Right there. Now, I have a program called 3D Studio Max. And here's the same angle. So let me show you what I've done here. I've taken, 2 different images, satellite images, and they're north-south oriented. And in 3D Studio Max, I have them placed the images onto 2 different planes. All right, and then I have a sunlight system. See this right here? That's the daylight system.
let me just say, if you were sitting around waiting on me to create a sunlight system in a 3D map, we'd be here a long time. I'm over here like, it doesn't look right to me. Let me look at Google Earth. I mean, that's the analysis I had done. The calculator on Google Earth says 2 meters. It should be 8 meters. This guy's incredible.
And if you select the daylight system, let's put the time where it matches the time frame in the video. All right. So we right over here on the right hand side of the screen. If you don't have HD, it might be hard to see, but this is at right now it's at 10 o'clock. So let's switch it to 9:57, which is the time.
I'm going to pause in there and I'm going to jump ahead because he's explained how the system works. It's a 2D map and he shows it, and then he overlays over the top of it a 3D solar system. And what happens is the plane of the sun adjusts using this calculator, using this solar calculator, similar to the one I use to calculate shadow length. It will adjust the sun. And from there, he can look at things like angle and length. So I'm going to jump ahead in this until he goes to examine these two pictures. Now that he's explained how this program works, I'm going to jump ahead and he's going to examine the two pictures that were taken right here. You can see on this colored part here in the middle, not the grayscale stuff on the outside, but the colorful part in the middle. He's got the camera at the same angle. It's above the basketball goal here on the house, and it's facing the road. So I'm going to let it roll from here, and he'll explain how he's able to calculate what time of day these pictures were taken. It's fascinating stuff.
It's north of that. So we're going to take a look at this one, and this is the shot. This is where Tyler Robinson is standing. So what we're going to do is get out Adobe Premiere here and move it forward to one of those shots. Now, this is a good example right here. We have no time associated with this camera here, except the other camera shows that this is right around 11:50. So we can assume this is right around 11:50. And we go, let's just put it right on that line, and he's straight up in the air right there. Okay, so look at the shadow angle. It's going just like that. So let's take a look at what we have in 3D Studio Max here. So we see that, and let's go back to Adobe Premiere. So we're right in the same spot, that cylinder. So you see the angle right there, where it's just gonna get into that line that's right there. So it just would go like right there from that position. So let's go ahead and
I'm going to speed him up a little bit. He sounds like Norm Macdonald when he's talking. He strangely sounds like Norm Macdonald. That's not a knock on him. Norm was a great comedian, but I'm going to just speed him up just a hair, about a quarter speed.
Render out the shot. So it should go back by right there if we switch the time to 11:50. Okay. And then I'm going to render it again, and let's see what happens. And we're going to render it right here. And you'll even notice that on the cylinder itself, the shadow is on the correct side. Look at that. It goes, that's the sideline right there, and it goes right in the same position. So that is correct. That is absolutely accurate. That's right around 11:50. And here's an example of both of them side by side. So
you can see that using his solar calculator, this 3D solar imaging software he has, he's estimating this is right around 11:50 a.m. And that's consistent with the photos released to the public showing this is about 11:50. This guy's brilliant. If you don't subscribe to this guy, go subscribe to this guy. This is great stuff. This is really great stuff. Now, I'm going to roll forward a little bit more. I don't want to show too much of his video because, he's got good stuff. I want you to go watch his video. I don't want you to only watch my video. So we'll go forward just a little bit. Now he's going to examine the second photo from the exact same location because he has the video of the guy walking up and down the street from the same location. We are told as a community that this photo was captured at 8:07 or 8:06 or 8:08, something like that. That's when we were told it was captured. Wait until you see where this shadow should be. This shadow should be at 8:06
in the morning. So let's fix the time frame here. So this would be, let's make this 8:06, and let's render it and see what happens.
So now we got the rendering process.
Less than an hour, so it's not really that. But let's take a look at 8:06 in the morning.
Watch this shadow at 8:06. I told you, my calculation was
okay. So
29.
you guys see the shadow angle here? It's almost straight off, and like here's the grout line, and another grout line. See how it just kind of goes almost straight off? I mean, straight would be right like that. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind when we're looking at the surveillance footage. So here we go. We're going to go to Adobe Premiere, and we're going to look at, let's go back to that footage that was assigned to 8:06 in the morning. Well, look at the angle of that sun right there. See that? So we'll put him in that same spot right there. Look at that. That's not even close. And in fact, if you drew a line from there, it would be just left of that line. So if you drew it out and went like just like that, it would be just left of this grout line. So that's not even close. It's definitely not 8:06. So let's go back to 3D Studio Max, get the light system, and then we know what the angle was at 11:50. So it's somewhere in between that. So let's go ahead and make this something like 9:30 or so, right of here. There it goes, rendering. And it's supposed to be left of that line before the next grout line, and it is not.
So that's the 9:30. What he's trying to do is get it to nail down to where it's the same, to where it looks the same. Let me show you. He finally gets it to nail down. I think it's around 10 o'clock or 10:15 or something.
That grout line. So it might even be slightly later, like 10:08, something like that, but it's after the other shot. And here is a side-by-side comparison.
That right there is, I think he had it at 10:06. That photo of Tyler Robinson was not taken at 8:07. That photo was not taken at 8:07. Now, if you don't like Gary, or if you don't like this 3D software, that's fine, because the solar calculator says the shadow should be 29 feet long, and the shadow there is about 6, maybe 8, maybe 9. It's not 29 feet long. 29 feet long would be all the way back to the house. And it would be at a much steeper angle because he's walking towards it. So it would be back here towards the flower bed into the middle of the yard. I'm telling you, guys. Once again, they have manufactured evidence to convince you that Tyler Robinson was somewhere he wasn't. This is just definitive, stone cold proof that people are conspiring. That's the word. Is this a conspiracy theory? Yes. Yes, it is. When two people agree to do something wrong, that's a conspiracy to commit something, a conspiracy to do something. They have conspired to do something. They have conspired to change the time that he was walking by this area here. That says 8:07. It was not 8:07. Now, here's the biggest problem. Who do we know was in that house? Who do we know was in that house? You guys know the answer to this question. You don't have to play coy. You don't have to be concerned about it. Who do we know was in that house? That's the house next door to Phil Lyman. That's the house next door to Phil Lyman. Remember, Phil Lyman's family owns all that property up there. It's a real problem. This brings Phil Lyman back into play. Because, Phil, you have to answer. You guys explained that this was Tyler Robinson at 8:07. Why did you do that? You're running for Congress or something now. Running for, I don't know what he's running for. You need to get on the record, young man. This is, I think, your family. If I'm not mistaken, this is your family. Can we figure out who lives at that house? It's 878. But this is a problem. This is a real problem. It's a real problem. Now, what I'm told is this guy may have wrong conclusions about everything. Well, this gray guy, that's fine. His work here is stellar. Math is bad. Whatever. I think it did great work on this. I encourage everybody to go watch it. I hope everybody goes and watches it. I hope you subscribe to his channel. I hope you comment on his thing. Great work. I mean, I think it's stellar. You just proved, like our friend Gary has done time and time again, you just proved that the Fed slop narrative is based on lies. You've just proved it's based on lies. And I appreciate that. I'm thankful you did that. I'm thankful you did that. All right. I want to go back to the timeline, because what we're having here, this is all gets back to the timeline. It all becomes a timeline issue. Let me get the PDF version this time. This is a cleaner version. This all comes back to the timeline of where everybody was when they were supposed to be there and all that kind of stuff. So let me zoom in a little bit, because what I want to show you next is a little bit of a recap. So if Tyler Robinson was walking around here at 8:07, which we now know he was not, then when he enters the campus at 8:20, whatever, he's in the right spot. He's in the right place in town. We've got him on camera near the location. If I had to guess, that is why they did this. See this right here? Tyler allegedly arrives on campus in his car. Maybe I need to make that bigger. TR allegedly arrives on campus in the car. Well, they had to have some photo evidence of him somewhere near the campus about that time in order for you to believe it. Enter a manufactured photograph of him supposedly at 8:07, walking right next to the campus. How hard would it be to believe that he walked to the campus, walked back, got his car, drove on campus? I mean, you say, hey, he's right there. It makes a lot of sense. But now we know he wasn't there at all. He was really more down here in the 10:05, 10:08 range walking there, if that's even him. If that's even him. But nevertheless, we have this second photo of him allegedly seen walking down that same road, and it did look like there was somebody walking down that same road, 800 South, around 11:45-ish. Whether that was Tyler Robinson, I don't know. This guy was dragging his leg like he was injured. We're told that's because, he had a gun down his pants. Well, I don't know about that, because if he couldn't bend his leg to walk, why was he able to bend his leg to climb stairs? But that's neither here nor there. They're already manufacturing evidence. You're free to discount anything else they say. But here is some individual that we believe, or we've been told is Tyler Robinson, allegedly walking down the street. And then you have the big bang that shows up. This big bang right here. And then the whole day goes by. There's a lot of fun stuff in here. We've covered a lot of it, but I don't want to focus too much on the day of today. I want to go to the next day. Because when we get to the next day, we have a morning press conference in the morning. They released the photos, the first set of photos, those two photos of the alleged Tyler Robinson walking through the area around the Losi Center, looking nothing like Tyler Robinson, looking like several other people. And then at 5 p.m., 5:14, we got Kash Patel and Dan Bongina landing in Utah on a plane, November 616, Romeo Kilo. They land there at 5:14 p.m. We've seen that plane. We know where the plane came from. It came from New York. That's consistent with where Kash Patel was. We know Kash Patel has told us time and time again he's not allowed to fly on any planes other than government planes. We have Kash Patel telling people over and over and over that Kash Patel is not allowed to fly on any jet other than a government jet. There were 3 government jets that landed that day used by the Department of Justice. Well, 2 really. One landed twice. One of them landed in like the 9:30 something time. One of them landed at 5:15 p.m., 9:30 something in the morning, I think the first one landed. We can guess that brought in some FBI heft there in the morning, the DC heft. And then at 5:14 p.m., Kash Patel, Dan Bongina, they land in Provo, Utah. He told Fox News he got there around 5. He told some other news station he got there around 5:30. So 5:14 is right in the middle, and I believe him. I believe him. And then the next plane landed at like 9:30 p.m. or something. I don't have this on here, but the next DOJ plane landed at like 9:30 p.m. Now we've got Tyler Robinson turning himself in. And we definitively put that down before 6:25 the last couple of days. And we're going to stick to that. We're sticking to 6:25. Because A, it happened. B, we have a document from the defense team that says he was being Mirandized at 6:25. It's impossible to believe he was not Mirandized until 6:25 the next day. So he had to be in custody in Washington County at 6:25 p.m. on September 11th. Period. End of story. It's my opinion still, but it is so strong. It's like 99.9 to the infinity % sure that he was in custody by 6:25. 7:28 p.m. to 7:50 p.m., these Egyptian planes wake up. There's an Egyptian plane sitting on the tarmac, or sitting outside in Provo, Utah on September 10th. We have a satellite image of it. I've showed it. I'll show it again tonight if you want to see it. There's a satellite image of this airplane sitting on the tarmac on that day. The ramp is down. The stairs are open. You can see it. There are 4 cars parked right nearby. We know because of Candace's reporting. We know those are rental cars because before she knew this photo existed, she reported that the rental cars matched these photos. The rental car actually matched these photos. And I will pull this up here and I'll show you this airplane sitting on the tarmac. It's really fascinating when you look at it. There it is. There she is. Let me go to the panorama view. Go to September 10th. Here we go. You can see this airplane sitting on the actual tarmac. And you can see the stairs are down. This is the airplane we're looking at. This is September 10th, 2025. We just got lucky that there was satellite imagery being taken that day. But this is the airplane they're talking about. There's a different angle, and there's another angle. You can see the stairs are down. The windows are pulled down. This plane is out there. Why am I showing you this? Because we go back to our timeline. This plane is outside of the hangar, sitting on the parking area right there, and the transponder comes on after Tyler's turned himself in and before the press conference. The transponder goes off 1 minute before the press conference, means the plane power's down 1 minute before the press conference starts. And at this press conference, this is where they're showing new photos and new video. They've got the 4 new photos. Kash Patel described them as enhanced photos of the suspect. He already announces they're going to pursue the death penalty. He knows nothing about the guy that they've caught, allegedly. But the transponder's on. And if you remember from our show yesterday, there's an actual spy plane on the way to St. George where Tyler Robinson had turned himself in. About the time that transponder goes off, the spy plane enters the scene, hangs out for a little while, and then flies off. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this moment here. You got the press conference ends. I'm going to go back and show you a couple of these other transponder times as well, because we're now starting to nail down the transponder times a little bit. When Axle 10 leaves Kalispell, this is the plane that will eventually, on the day Charlie Kirk is taken out, this Kalispell plane, this Axle 10, this is the one that will make a close approach to Utah Valley University shortly after Charlie Kirk is taken down. This is the plane, this Axle 10 plane. This is the one that loses altitude. We covered this yesterday. The very second that Charlie Kirk is taken out, this plane immediately begins losing altitude, like to the second. 12:23 and 35 seconds, it starts losing altitude. And then as soon as it takes off, this transponder goes off. This transponder had been on. This transponder goes off once this plane gets airborne. We got this transponder coming on right as this plane lands in Scottsdale. This is the plane we believe had Andrew Colvin on it. So you see this transponder comes on right as this plane gets ready to land. This is, again, the transponder is the Egyptian plane sitting on the tarmac. 12:48 p.m., the transponder comes back on. That's about the time Kash Patel and Dan Bongina leave New York City. They're in the air several hours. Then the transponder goes off. And then right after that, CNN lets us know there are rapid developments in this case. So there's just a lot going on with this transponder. We've not nailed down every time, I don't believe, the transponder comes on and off. Maybe we have. We've not nailed down every single piece of detail that was going on all over the place when these transponders came on and off. But it's my belief that when these transponders come on, these planes are powering up and you have access to anything on board, any electronic on board. You can do communications. You can do all kinds of stuff. It's also interesting to me that an FBI plane flew into that same airport, parked near that same place. Duncan Aviation parked on that end of the runway. And then the transponders come on and they're there. And the transponder's down for hours that time. So there's a whole lot here that has to be fleshed out. I mentioned that because if anybody has an interest in looking at this kind of stuff, this would be a great thing to dive in and help piece together. If you know much about planes coming and going, if you've seen planes come and go that we don't have on our timeline, this would be ideal. It'd be an ideal time to start finding that kind of stuff. All right. So where are we so far? They lied to us about the 807 photo. Why? Because they're going to tell you Tyler Robinson came on campus at 8:29. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. He was not at that location at 8:07. Period. End of story. At least that person was not photographed at 8:07. That person was photographed a couple hours later at a bare minimum, maybe even later than that. Then we learned that we have transponder issues that seem to coordinate in particular with the minutes leading up to the FBI press conference, as if there's some sort of coordination perhaps taking place. I'll leave that up for the imagination. Now I want to switch gears entirely. I'm leaving Egypt. I'm leaving Utah. I'm leaving Tyler Robinson. I'm leaving Dan Bongina. Because I've come across something that I have to discuss. I just have to discuss. And it involves a Catholic charity, and I think it relates to this case. There's so much going on in this case. Do you remember when Donald Trump last week, Erica Kirk was in town in Washington, D.C. for something, and she was there, and he's like, you should sue them. You should sue Candace Owens. Sue her hiney off. And, except he used the ugly word. You should sue her hiney off. Well, I looked at that and thought, that bothers me because I'm not sure what Candace Owens has done to deserve having her hiney sued off. Oh, no, I've lost the video. I'm going to have to re-up. Okay, good. This video is hard to hear. This Catholic charity is called Alliance Defending Freedom. If you've never heard of the Alliance Defending Freedom, it sounds amazing, right? Alliance Defending Freedom. I'll pull up a summary here on what the Alliance Defending Freedom does. They It sounds amazing. These people sound great. I think they're up to something sinister. The ADF, the Alliance Defending Freedom, formerly the Alliance Defense Fund, it's an American 501c3 nonprofit conservative Christian legal advocacy group. Works to expand Christian religious practices. This Christian's going to come up a lot, and I'm going to make a point about it in a second. Within public schools and in governments. Most known for its stance on outlawing abortion, opposing same-sex marriage, other LGBTQ rights, transgender rights, anti-discrimination laws. Headquartered in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's going to play a role, so remember that. Scottsdale, Arizona. And it's got branch offices in Washington, D.C. and New York, and also around the world. It's got locations all over the world. The big organization. You can see their budget last year was $104 million. It's one of the most organized and influential Christian legal interest groups in the United States. And what we've learned is, that they're revamping. We've learned that the Alliance Defending Freedom is revamping. And it bothers me. It bothers me. I've gotten a hold of a meeting that they had. And I have a little clip pulled out of it here. I'll admit the sound is not ideal, so I'll explain what's going on after I play it. But I want you guys to understand the lengths our opponents will go to try to destroy anyone who opposes them in any capacity. I think this could be linked to the Charlie Kirk investigation and some things said about Erica Kirk. But I think it goes beyond that. I think it goes to our greatest ally and more. But let me play just a clip of this. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's about a 5-minute clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I do want to play a little piece of it. If you have trouble hearing it, I'll have to, it's being recorded on a phone off of a computer. So it's not ideal. We're not supposed to have this. We're not supposed to have this clip. But I want you to hear this if you can. If not, I will explain what it is they're saying.
A couple of weeks ago. Can you remind everyone who's on the board, number one, and then two, how did that meeting go? Like, spill the tea.
Well, they actually watch this sometimes, so I'm not going to spill all the tea.
Try it, guys.
They are my boss, but okay. So in terms of the names, you can see those on the screen. We have some great board members. John Rogers is with Crew. He is the chair of our board. Lisa has had a number of she's a franchise owner with Auntie Annie's, has had a host of businesses. Cheryl Batchelder.
I saw someone say turn on the subtitles. There are no subtitles. This is off a cell phone. This is on YouTube.
CEO.
If you can't hear it, I'll explain it to you for a second.
Popeye sat on a number of public boards. Steve Reineman, if you don't know, you should Google. There's too many boards there to identify. CEO of PepsiCo International, which is the big thing. Caleb, who's the CEO and founder of Daily Wire. Michael Tremaine, who's managing partner at Sovereign's Capital. Mike Whitehead, who's our longtime allied attorney, and I'm on the board as well now. So that's who we have on the board. What I think might be worth noting is we have had significant changes to our board over the last couple of years, and that's been very intentional in that the board members that were on the board have said, this is a new season. We need to set ADF up well for that new season. And so there's...
Okay, I want to pause there because, I see people say it's not Catholic, it's Christian. I may have misspoken. This organization is a Christian organization, allegedly. She just said two things that just made me jump out of my skin. One is they've had a tremendous amount of board turnover. I can confirm that. If you look here, a lot of these board members, I think it maybe as many as 7 of them are new. These are new board members, and I'll explain why one of them in particular concerns me. The second thing she's already said, and there's one more thing I want to get out of this video, and then I'll back out of it. But the second thing she said is the change was intentional because they're going a new direction. The ADF going a new direction bothers me because they have tremendous resources, and they are very skilled lawyers. This is basically a law firm. A law firm with essentially an unlimited budget already. And let me, you guys probably know where she's going with these changes. She's going to tell you they're being taken to the next level. And the board turnover is related to that. It reminds me a lot of another organization that just lost a key leader recently, but I'll let her explain a little more.
Been some term limits, for example, that have been put in place. So we are actually having Scott Sharpen is rolling off the board, as well as Mark Maddox. And Mark was one of our founding board members from 33 years ago. He's been on the entire time. So we got to celebrate that as well. Now, you still want me to share the tea?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. Yeah. Thank you. That was awesome.
Okay.
Unless you have anything more,
I do.
Stop you. Go.
Well, can we skip something else?
Yeah.
Because am I supposed to talk about the board, what we decided, right?
Yeah.
So I do want to share some of that. At the board meetings, we're trying to focus on 3 areas where we want the board to serve as a resource and give us real input. And it was a phenomenal experience.
So they've had a long-term planning meeting with their new board, and they've come up with 3 areas they want to focus on. I'll spoil the surprise because it's hard for me to hear. I can't imagine what it sounds like to you guys. But the areas are facilities management. They want to build out more facilities. But the big surprise is they're expecting tremendous growth. And they want to plan for how they're going to use all these additional resources that are going to come flooding in to the Alliance Defending Freedom. Now, I'll lower it to say this. Why would somebody want to dump a whole bunch more money into this organization? I've got an idea. And I'm going to give you a good explanation in a moment of why I have this idea. But I want to suggest it sounds a whole lot to me like what Charlie Kirk was facing right before he passed away. You remember the meeting in the Hamptons and they said someone's offered to take them to the next level? And he rejected it. Allegedly. Allegedly, someone offered to take them to the next level, and allegedly he rejected it. Now, this is a comparable size organization to Turning Point USA. It's about $100 million a year organization. I'll say there aren't a lot of organizations that are expecting tremendous growth that are nonprofits already taking in $100 million a year. Certainly not that they can plan for the additional growth. And because of that, I wanted to look at the new board and start to drill down on it. One of the names that jumped out to me was Caleb Robinson. Caleb Robinson on this board is a problem, in my opinion. I don't want Caleb Robinson on a board that's being taken to the next level. Here is his LinkedIn. It is very bare, you'll notice. Very, very bare. Says he's the president at Forward Publishing. And all it says here is President Forward Publishing. He's been there since July of 2015. That's not exactly true. Now, maybe he opened it up in July of 2015 and has never looked at it again. I'll give him that. Caleb Robinson is the CEO of the Daily Wire. This is Ben Shapiro's outfit. I say Ben Shapiro's outfit. It's really Caleb Robinson's outfit. Ben Shapiro's a part owner. Caleb Robinson's a part owner. I think Jeremy Boring might still be a part owner. He was the solo CEO from 2015 to 2019. He's not an old guy. So he was very young when they started this. Very, very young when they started this. And he was the solo CEO for 4 years. Then they brought in Jeremy Boring in 2019, and he became kind of the co-CEO from 2019 to 2025. And then last March, I think it was March or April, Jeremy Boring is kicked out. He's gone. And it's back to being just Caleb Robinson. He's the sole CEO of the Daily Wire. And it's interesting because if you read the history of it, or you know the history of it, Caleb Robinson was introduced to Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring by a guy named Alan Estrin. Alan Estrin was the co-founder of PragerU. PragerU, as you know, is purportedly a right-wing organization. It's not. It exists solely to satisfy the needs and the wants of our greatest ally. That's why PragerU exists, is to indoctrinate conservatives and Christians to love our greatest ally. That's why they exist. Alan Estrin, the co-founder of PragerU, introduces Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring to Caleb Robinson. Well, Caleb Robinson's a young guy. This is 11 years ago. He would have been an 11-year younger guy. What pull does he have? Well, it's interesting. It's interesting. Let me pull up directly from the Daily Wire website, and I'll let you read along with me how this happened. This is important to understand what's going on with the Alliance Defending Freedom. Conceived by Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring, the Daily Wire was meant to be something unique in the right of center media landscape, a truly for-profit business. Well, shocking. Ben Shapiro would want to be in a for-profit business with an emphasis on distribution and marketing. In partnership with Caleb Robinson, the team launched the Daily Wire in 2015 with an initial investment of $4.7 million by Ferris Wilks. That's a key line, and it helps you understand who Caleb Robinson is and what he brought to the table. Caleb Robinson was a young guy without much business experience. He certainly had never run a truly for-profit business with an emphasis on distribution and marketing. What Caleb Robinson brought to the table was cash. He brought cash, but he didn't have his own cash. Caleb Robinson didn't have his own cash. The Wilks brothers have cash. Who are the Wilks brothers? You guys remember the Wilks brothers? If you don't, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to them here. They play a key role in this story. They've played a role already in the Charlie Kirk investigation. I'll just rehash. Dan Wilks and Ferris Wilks. I don't know why we don't know what year these guys were born. How hard is that to figure out? Oop, I didn't mean to put that. They are American petroleum industry businessmen. No, what they are frackers. They had a fracking business that they sold part of it for $3.5 billion. They're fracking billionaires. I didn't use fracking as a euphemism for the F word. They're fracking billionaires. They're billionaires who got their money through fracking. They're major investors in and funders of conservative causes, including the Daily Wire and PragerU. In other words, these organizations we know of as primarily existing to brainwash American conservatives and to support for our greatest ally, that's who they fund. That's their interest. In addition to the Daily Wire and PragerU, they also bought the building that Rob McCoy's church is in. We know his position. He exists to brainwash people into support for our greatest ally. He was a big player at TPUSA Faith, where they existed to brainwash people to support. That's why I went with brainwashing, by the way. I don't know if you caught the connection here. The Jolly West brainwashing was to set up this segment. Yeah, sometimes I hide the ball a little too much. I should have pointed that out. But Rob McCoy, TPUSA Faith, PragerU, the Daily Wire, it all existed to brainwash you, conservatives, Americans, as many people as they could find. It existed to brainwash people to support our greatest ally, to convince you that Genesis 2:12 or whatever it is talking about the modern government sitting over there overseas. To convince you that in order to be a good Christian, you've got to support that government. That's why they exist. That's all. They don't exist to convince you of anything else. And so when I see a guy like Caleb Robinson on the board, I think that's weird. Because that's a very different mission than ADF had previously had. ADF previously served up basically red meat Republican issues, right? You want to win at the ballot box, you got to have the right position on the gays, right? I mean, that's what they did. That's the type of organization they had. But it tells me, because if you'll remember, about the time they opened TPUSA Faith, TPUSA's budget exploded. That's a nonprofit who previously was focused almost entirely on economic liberty, the foundational principles of a Milton Friedman. But the moment they went into TPUSA Faith and they had a whole structural shift, all of a sudden their budget went from like $20 million a year, and it started climbing every year, and it's about $100 million a year. It might be $250 million a year now. Such is the money that comes your way when you take this political turn, when you go into the foreign policy business. They also gave $15 million, the Wilks brothers did, to Ted Cruz, for example, to Ted Cruz's PAC. They're big fans of Ted Cruz. What do we know about Ted Cruz? He's a big fan of our greatest ally. In fact, he was on the record saying that's the one thing he wanted to accomplish in the Senate. That's what he wanted to be known for, being the biggest fan of our greatest ally in the history of the United States Senate. One wonders whether he has 15 million reasons to say something like that. Is it just about the money, or does he actually believe it? It is a mega Zionist family, the Wilks brothers. They have a church. Ferris Wilks has a church. His father had a church. They came out of the Church of Christ. They slowly evolved over time and became a truly mega Zionist organization. It's now called, it's gone through several iterations, but it's now called the Assembly of Yahweh Seventh Day. And I've got a list of their beliefs here off of their website. This is on their doctrinal statement. This is their, like a lot of churches say they have a doctrinal statement. We believe in the Trinity. We believe in baptism. We believe Jesus died for our sins, that if you believe in him, you can get everlasting life. I mean, just basic, tenets of Christianity. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, or yours are right or wrong, but I mean, most churches have some kind of a doctrinal statement. The Catholic Church has a doctrinal statement. It's 1,200 pages long. It's called the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Much longer than the typical website bullet point structure. But I think you would say fairly, the doctrinal statement of the Catholic Church is the Nicene Creed. We say it every Sunday. Stand up, you say the Nicene Creed. If you believe in the Nicene Creed, you're eligible to be Catholic. These people have a doctrinal statement. I'm going to read it to you. You ready to hear this? This is unbelievable. Their doctrinal statement is that Yahweh is bringing the Jewish people back to their homeland in order to purify and to bless them. One day they will say, "Blessed is he that cometh in the name of Yahweh." That's their doctrinal statement. It could be possibly the only Christian church I'm aware of in the history of Christianity whose entire doctrinal statement doesn't actually mention Jesus, the Messiah, the Christ. That's his title. When you say you're Christian, Christ is just a Greek word for Messiah. That's all it is. And they don't even mention it in their doctrinal statement. Yahweh will bring the Jewish people back to their homeland in order to purify and to bless them. One day they will say, "Blessed is he that cometh in the name of Yahweh." There's a billionaire who runs this church. You know how many members they have? I think they have like 15 or 20 members. It's a very small church. Their preacher, their head guy for a long time was Ferris Wilks. He was the money behind it, and he was the preacher. He's now one of their elders. But I mean, in a church that small, they know who, they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. So this is who he is. This is what he believes. This is where he invests his money. And he invests it in places like Ted Cruz, Rob McCoy, PragerU, Daily Wire. They all have one thing in common, and it's not America. It's not Jesus Christ. It's our greatest ally. That's the common thread among those four entities and individuals. They say they have a strict literal interpretation of the Bible as historically and scientifically accurate in every detail. They follow the Saturday Sabbath observance. Stop in the name of God. That was Charlie Cook's last book. Shabbat shalom, daddy's home, tossing the phone. Saturday Sabbath observance. They follow, this church does, Old Testament dietary laws, meaning it's the old kosher rules. No shellfish, no pork, no blood in the meat. They celebrate the Jewish feasts, this church does, at the appointed times. They reject Gentile holidays like Christmas, Easter, Halloween. Those are entirely not Jewish enough for this Christian church. They use sacred names, like they don't say God, they say Yahweh. And of course, women must keep silent during worship service and follow modest dress codes. That's them, not me. I'm not telling you guys to be quiet. They're telling you to be quiet. And I believe Caleb Robinson came out of this movement. I think that's the connection. I think the connection to Caleb Robinson, the Wilks brothers, the Daily Wire, and now ADF, now the Alliance Defending Freedom, I think is this guy. I think this is where they came. They had board turnover. They're doubling in size, i.e. they're being taken to the next level. And here's my ringer. I'm being told behind the scenes, this is the group who is going to sue Candace Owens, or at least finance the lawsuit of Candace Owens. I know she's aware of it. We've talked about it. This is the group, I believe, who will sue Candace Owens. And to that, I say shame on them. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing she's ever said has anything to do with the Alliance Defending Freedom. And if they're just doing it for money, when you exchange your services for money, you're just a prostitute for the cause. That's all you are. And any organization that exists and claims over and over we're a Christian organization and goes out there suing Christians, and that's in exchange for money, not because you have a cause of action against her or you're supporting the lawsuit. Christian legal advocacy group, expand Christian practices. If this is who you are, stick to this stuff, the Christian stuff. Stick to this stuff. Nowhere in here does it say sue people who attack our friends who live near us in Scottsdale. Nowhere does it say that. Nowhere does it say that your job is to go out there and fulfill the, pardon the expression, the wet dreams of Ben Shapiro to try to destroy Candace Owens. Nowhere does it say that. That's not in your mission statement. It's not in your vision. It's not who you're supposed to be. And it's just shameful that you would use an organization like that and be taken to the next level. And I predict, this is my prediction, as the ADF grows and expands, which they claim they know is coming. If they know it's coming, they've been told it's coming. That's not free. That's not free. They want something in exchange for that. I predict this organization is going to take a hard turn towards our greatest ally. They've not really had anything to do with them ever since they've been founded. They've been around for decades. One of their board members that's rolling off had been there 33 years. I know, there's that number again. There's that number again. But he'd been there 33 years. 33 years ago, I was 13 years old. I was in middle school. I was in 7th grade at Brentwood Middle School. The Vikings. And I think it's an absolute disgrace what's happening in this country. It's an absolute disgrace. And I think it's an absolute disgrace that our president used his bully pulpit to suggest a citizen of the United States get sued over the exercise of free speech. I think that's repulsive. That's repulsive. It's absolutely repulsive. A lot of what he's said lately has been repulsive, but that in particular, not criminal speech, just free speech. I don't think what you've done is right. I think you've told lies. You should sue that person. Wait a minute. Who are you? You're supposed to be the executive officer of this country. You're the chief executive officer of this country. The head of the Article 2 branch of government, the president of the United States. Only 45 men in history have held that title. You're the 47th administration, but 2 of you held it twice over different times. Only 45 people on earth have ever held the title President of the United States. And I venture to say he's the very first one to ever tell one citizen to sue another over free political speech, over free speech. And I hope the Alliance Defending Freedom is not doing this. I hope this is not the route they're going. I hope they're not about to take a hard right Zionist turn. I hope they're not about to start funding and filing lawsuits against private citizens who speak out on free speech issues. I hope that's not what our Christian organizations are becoming. A lot of these organizations have been co-opted. They've been taken over. I hope that's not where we're headed. That's all I can say about it. That's all I can say about it. There were some other board members there that were problematic, but as soon as I saw Caleb Robinson's name, I was like, whoa, danger, Will Robinson, danger, Will Robinson. We got a real problem on our hands. I've never liked that guy. I don't know him, but I've never liked him. I've never quite understood what he's accomplishing there. Never quite understood why he was there, why he's in the middle of all that. Didn't quite get it. All right, so what did we learn today? We learned the Fed sloppers got caught lying yet again. They have manufactured now a photograph that is inaccurate. They manufactured a photograph that was inaccurate. I learned that a guy many of you don't like, who may not like this program at all, had an excellent episode that we, through fair use, were able to show a couple clips of. An excellent episode, though, of examining the shadow and the technology. He's a very smart guy. Not right about everything, clearly, but he's a very smart guy. And using his technology, using the shadow calculators, we were able to determine that pix that they're pawning off on us at 807, which is not 807, which was taken by the house next door to where Phil Lyman was, that we believe may be owned by a Phil Lyman neighbor. I think that might be part of the Steele family, but I didn't want to say that out loud until I know for sure. Maybe by Sunday's show, I'll tell you exactly who owns that piece of property. Oh gosh, you know what I did? I didn't open my Rumbler. If anybody has any supers on Rumble, will you tell me? Because I totally forgot. I got it open now. So anything that's before now. But we learned that they're just liars. Lying liars who lie. They lie, they lie, they lie. And I will find out who owns that house. I'll find out who owns that house. And I'll update you. I think it might be that Steele family, but I don't want to say that without knowing. But I'm pretty confident there's a Phil Lyman family connection there. I could be wrong. That's my opinion. My opinion, Phil. My opinion. We also learned that the transponders came on at a very convenient time for about 10, 30 minutes, whatever it was, right before the FBI press conference. After Tyler Robinson had turned himself in, and when they were still lying that Tyler Robinson was on the run, when they knew he had already turned himself in. He'd already been Mirandized. And they were still lying. And for whatever reason, foreign jets are transponding from a local airport. And finally, we learned that the ADF might have accepted the offer that TPUSA previously refused, to be taken to the next level. They are behind the scenes telling their donors and investors that they're expecting to double in size. They're already a $100 million organization, and they're expecting to double in size. That's another $100 million. And we're also being told behind the scenes they're preparing at least to support a lawsuit against Candace Owens, which is disgusting. And they're putting people on the board who are kooks, like Caleb Robinson. Works for a kook organization, co-owns a business with a kook like Ben Shapiro, and is connected, frankly, to kooks like Ferris Wilks. I believe he's connected. I don't want to say definitively he is, but I'm pretty confident. So that's what we learned today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I had. It's been a big week. It's been a very big week. I want to set up tomorrow's live show. I think we've nailed down a time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, noon. I guess that would make it noon Mountain and 11 Pacific. And if you're overseas, you're going to have to calculate it yourself because I can't do that kind of math. But 1 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, I'm going to have Zach Costello on. I'm really looking forward to this. I want to probe his mind. I want to really dig into the mind of Zach Costello. I think he's a very talented podcaster. I like quite a bit watching his shows, but I want to talk to him just a little bit about life outside of podcasting, and I hope he'll indulge me a little bit in that. And then I'll be back Sunday night, probably between 5 and 6. If I had to guess, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock kickoff, maybe as late as 7, but usually between 5 and 6 on Sunday. We'll get kicked off on Sunday, and we got a lot to talk about Sunday because there's a lot we held back out of this show that we intended to cover tonight that we're not covering tonight. So let me check here. Send address. I can look. Yeah, we can look at it later. It's 878. Yeah. And if we can't find an owner, we'll find it later. Okay. Let me get to some of your comments. If there were any Rumble chats ahead of time, if somebody could text those to me or drop them somewhere where I can see them, I'll be happy to look at those as well. Just booked my flight from El Paso. So sending this now just in case the onboard Wi-Fi doesn't work. Any idea where El Paso, the spy planes flying in and landing out of? Another fort, maybe Fort Bliss. It was Fort Bliss. That's precisely where it was. And I hope you have Wi-Fi because I would hate you miss a good show. Did you see the cyber hack in New Zealand? I did. I watched Trigger Smart's video on that. Patients' names all changed to Charlie Kirk. I had my suspicions about why they did that. You know, I've entertained this like 0.5% chance that he escaped. It's a very small chance, but that was weird. That was weird. That was really weird. I just wanted to commend you on finishing yesterday's show with such grace. Oh. Was there a reason I wouldn't have had grace? Okay. Thank you. I didn't know if I'm missing something there. Could you please fine Trump for continuing to use terms high IQ and low IQ? Joe's can't use it. I noticed he used it today. I got a text message. He had a new Truth Social post. I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years. This is the president of the United States talking or posting a social media post. Especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the number one state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon. Because they have one thing in common. Low IQs. No, Mr. President, you may not. If you ever wanted a chance to go back in this box, Mr. President, the last thing you can do is try to steal the phrase low IQ and use it against people like Tucker and Candace and Megyn Kelly. I've not heard anybody say they want Iran to have nuclear weapons or are even rooting for Iran. I think what he's missing is some people just don't want us going to war right now. They happen to be on the other side. And so the question, why are we fighting Iran, does not mean, hey, I want Iran to beat the United States. It's like, hey, what are we doing? Why are we there? Like, we're fighting Iran and our greatest ally is just mowing through Christian neighborhoods in Lebanon. Well, why does that work? Aren't we supposed to be on the side of the Christian neighborhoods in Lebanon? I am. I'll admit it. I am. Respected Danks, but I can 100% debunk his video on the Discord messages. Discord looks different on each platform, PC, Apple, Android, and those messages were screenshotted on an Apple device. Well, I would have assumed Danks was high IQ enough to use Apple devices. I just guessed. Here's what you can't debunk. Those Discord messages, they were sent after he was in custody. If you think somebody just assassinated a high-profile political figure, you're not going to let him have a cell phone. You're going to take it because he's in your custody, and you don't want him coordinating with people, destroying evidence. You don't want him deleting things on his phone. You don't want him orchestrating some sort of attack out there. I mean, this is somebody who's, at least you think, a stone-cold killer, a crazed animal, and is in your custody. And you've already Mirandized him. Fake news. Hi, Baron. Your show, love your show, and thanks for everything you do. You and Daisy do. I want to, is that a middle finger? Oh, I want to point out one thing. You do know someone indirectly in the traffic gig, Lionel's wife. Oh, I did not. Well, I don't know her. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I did not know that's what she did. I'm weirded out by that, if I'm being honest. I understand there's a need for that. But I think when everyone you associate with is in that industry, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. Did you hear what a student at UVU said early on in the investigation about there being a person jumping off the roof about a week before the assassination and they got it pre-recorded? I have not seen the pre-recording. Oh, no. You're saying that jumping off was pre-recorded? Well, if it was, then they layered on the parking lot because that parking lot was that day. That was that day. And so if that all happened ahead of time, then that photo is complete. That video is completely fraudulent because I have gone back and looked at the satellite photography that day and those cars are in the same spot. I proved that the other day when I talked about the guy walking through the tunnel. I think it was yesterday's show. And I showed that if you look out beyond the tunnel and then I showed the satellite view of those two cars sitting there, you could see them plain as day. So if it was pre-recorded, there goes the dog. If it was pre-recorded, they layered in the parking lot over the top of it. Just curious if the powers that be don't really care if we support the overseas beef they're in right now. Why did CK have to be deleted? Because he commanded the attention of millions and millions of people. So if you take someone like Tucker, who had not been a big fan of our greatest ally for a long time, and he starts talking out about it, well, that's to be expected. He's not really bringing new people over. But Charlie, his followers believed in the greatest ally spiel. They loved it. And they also believed, more importantly, in Charlie. And if Charlie had come out and said, guys, I've been wrong on this. I'm switching my mind. I'm no longer in support of these people. It would have had a devastating effect on the support. B, what's your take on Tiffany Barker, the eyewitness who was on Good Morning America with her kids? She too was trend searched over there, plot builder. I have an opinion that let me lump her in with a lot of other people. And keep in mind, she too is related to Phil Lyman. Not related, but related by association. And I think her niece or whoever she was with is related by association to Hunter Kozak, if I'm not mistaken, maybe through Hunter Kozak's brother or something. I think there was a plan to immediately plant the gunshot narrative in the media. And they had people lined up, in my opinion, people like Tiffany Barker, people like Jeb Jacoby, and others, who would immediately run out there and begin planting that narrative so that everyone would be able to make sense of it. Because if you recall, a bunch of people said they thought they heard a firecracker. Well, firecracker and gunshot sound very different. But if you go and you watch the news and every single news station saying the same thing, gunshot, 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 gunshot. We talked about it with Jolien West today. This pervasive conditioning, this suggestive messaging. You hear the same thing over and over and you start to believe it. You think, maybe I was wrong. I guess it was a gunshot. I mean, he did have a wound and everybody's saying it was a gunshot. So your brain switches like, oh, gunshot it is. So I think there were a lot of people who that was their mission. They were sent out there to carry the message. Andrew, thank you. Lionel had lots of positive to say about you. Love that guy. Check out if you haven't. I love Lionel. I watch a lot of Lionel. He's one of the few people I go to over and over again. I watch, I would say, more than half of everything he puts out, maybe as much as 75% of everything he puts out. Sometimes I just run out of time and can't watch it all. I would watch it all if I had more time in the day. I like Lionel a lot. I think he's a very talented broadcaster. You can tell he has tremendous amount of experience in radio behind a microphone. And I like the way his mind works. I like the way he goes to second and third order causes of what's happening. Not a lot of people are able to do that on the fly with so many different disparate pieces of information. And he does. Very talented broadcaster. I didn't mean anything about his wife when I said that weirded me out. I'm just right now, because of all the associations to Erica Kirk in that industry, I'm totally weirded out by that industry. Because these are shady people. Jaco Boyan's a shady guy. That Victor Mark's a shady guy. The fact that Lori Abbas Franzfe was opening a charity with that guy. Shady guy. He's a shady guy, so that makes her shady. Well, she's shady anyway. But it's like every time you turn around, that's the only people they associate with are in this industry. It's just weird. It's just really weird. But Baron, love your opening statement. I'm not American, but I learned so much about American culture from them. Thank you for your hard work. Please don't confuse Jolly West with American culture. Please. Please don't think we Americans are like, yes, government, could you please go out and brainwash more people with drugs? Understand they just play a role in American history, if a shameful one. Finally got my first live. Amazing work. Shared with many friends. God bless. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate you doing that. And welcome to the show. Hey, Baron, late follow-up of 2 shows ago, the Tyler in the Tunnel. His hands are in a very distinct military march fists. And any other pictures or videos of others open hands, normal walks. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I don't pay attention to how people walk around, though. Maybe that's not normal. I hadn't considered that. Haiti's ISR plane in the air equals credibility to the idea that foreign intel was on the ground. Dodi C rules in USA are strict and they need FISA approval. I don't know what Dodi C is. Defense Department and intelligence community rules in USA are strict. They need FISA. Assuming they're going through official channels, yeah, keep in mind that Haiti's program is through military contractors. And so they might be able to just work outside of the official channels. Baron, been waiting for you to don a high IQ Adidas sweater vest like in Fleet's vid. They do, in fact, make them. Love your humor. God bless y'all. They make a sweater vest? Adidas sweater vest? I don't know that I've ever worn a sweater vest. They do. Oh, that one looks good, too. Man, I would look sharp in that. Ladies and gentlemen, you might see this coming up soon. Check this out. I would look good in this. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Checkered. I don't know if you guys can see it, but those are blue checkers. See that? Like a winner. Checkers are winners. Like they wave the checker flag for the winner. I can dig it. I might have to don one. I didn't know they made them. I don't know that I've ever worn a sweater vest. Maybe when I was little, my mom dressed me up in one. I don't know. Any thoughts on Trigger Smart's New Zealand hack with Charlie Kirk name drops? Matt posted it today. What could it mean? Yeah, I don't know what it could mean. I mean, he covered the gamut pretty well. He went through all the possibilities and just kind of left it up to the viewer, and I'd kind of do the same. I don't know. I mean, if it was in what they call ethical hackers, he talked about that, where people hack for supposedly ethical reasons to point out security flaws or for whatever reason. But I think messing with people's medical records is not exactly ethical hacking. What it raised look, we've all thought through all the possibilities. We've all thought through the possibility that he lived. Every one of us has. I don't buy it. I know Jesse's all in on it. I don't buy it. But we are left with that weird statement by Kash Patel. We've got to watch now, brother. See ya in Valhalla. I don't know. See you twice in Valhalla, I guess. I don't know, but we'll see you in Valhalla. Sir, the hell's that mean? With all due respect to the FBI director, but what does that mean? See you in Valhalla? A Nordic paradise land? Huh? You got a Presbyterian Christian fella and a Hindu? There's no Valhalla in either of those traditions. What are you talking about? And so people immediately read into it and they start thinking, well, where are their Valhallas? And there happens to be I think a Valhalla area or resort or retirement community or something in New Zealand, in the area of New Zealand. And then doggone it, Kash Patel had happened to visit that very area like a month before or something. It was weird timing, weird set of coincidences. And so people started speculating, perhaps he lived through it, like it was all an act, or he lived, and then he got out of town and he's recovering in Valhalla. Well, the hack didn't help dissuade people from that notion, because now you've got medical system in Valhalla, or in that area that has a Valhalla in it, New Zealand, that gets hacked and they change everybody's name to Charlie Kirk. Well, If you're trying to hide his medical records and someone's figured it out, oh, there's a Charlie Kirk here near Valhalla. Someone could go in there and change them all to Charlie Kirk and start deleting people. And in the chaos, they wouldn't realize that one of them had been deleted. The real Charlie Kirk. I don't buy that, but I'd be lying to you if watching Matt's video today, my mind didn't go there. But not to be morbid, her husband's dead. Pulled over while driving since a panic attack hit me. Scrolled vids desperate for something to distract me. And you're going live as I get on YouTube. Thank you. I'm medicine, baby. I'm medicine. Some people take Nuprin, ibuprofen. I'll throw a bone to our overseas friends here. Paracetamol. I got you covered, Europeans. Some people take a dose of Baron. I got you. I've got you. I won't let you down. Won't let you down. We got gift membos coming down from the ad fleet team. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Grew up listening to Michael Savage. What a disappointment he has been lately. Admire you for being refreshing. Keep on, keep on. I called into Michael Savage one time. This would have been 2001 or 2 because I know where I was living at the time. And I lived there from June to June, 2001 to 2002. I called into Michael Savage. I was a big fan of Savage. I loved his little Savage. I love that little call he did when he went to a break. Yeah, Savage. I think his real name is Wiener, Michael Wiener, and he's acting like one. He's become one. But you know, I was a big talk radio fan, and he was on the local lineup. Thank you, thank you. Man, a lot of people going to be watching Zach Costello tomorrow live, 1 p.m. Central Time, with your humble host, Baron Coleman, and you will be invited if you're a member and you've hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button today. I believe Frank Turek had knowledge and or is helping covering CK murder, and he wears that white freedom shirt at speaking events. How does it not shake his soul? Well, you assume he has one. I'm kidding, Frank. We all have a soul. Some of us are more stained than others. I don't know, man. Frank's a weird guy. He wears shooting glasses. That's all I can say. Don't trust a man who wears shooting glasses. The weird get up he's got going on. Good movie rec for the jury, The Way with Martin Sheen. That is a good movie. I've seen it. Central theme is faith, Catholicism, grief, forgiveness. A slow burner, but so moving. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah. It's about the walk through, I'm going to say the mountains wrong. Is it the Pyrenees? It's some mountains in France and Spain, I think. And it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. It is slow, but it's very deep. Got off work early for a long weekend in the mountains and finally caught this live. Love the show. Baron, Jen by the sea. Enjoy the mountains. Enjoy the show. And thank you. Your shows this week have been sensational. Oh, no. Am I a country music sensation? I'm just a backbeat country lawyer with a curious mind. Curious mind. Great work by you, Daisy and Sis. Thank you. And I, for one, love your beginning music. Don't change a thing. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Go Max. I will. Thank you. Thank you. That's not that's just something I ripped off of this program we have here. I reached out to Fleet today to start the conversation. So Ex-Luminat, whatever your name is, if you can let her know that I sent her a Venmo to start an open conversation. I'd like to talk to her about putting something together that I can use routinely. Please read Revelation 17:14-6 to the audience and share your thoughts. Thanks for all you do. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Are you now the producer? You now the producer? Daisy, Casey, we got a volunteer employee here. Ordering us around. Ordering us around. Revelation 17. Man, you make me go all the way to the back. This is where the pages start to stick together back here. All right, 17. What was it? 17 what? 4 through 6. 3 verses? All right, we'll see here. Get me some light here. I hate that you guys have to look at the back of my head while I read now. The woman was wearing purple and scarlet and adorned with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held in her hand a gold cup that was filled with the abominable and sordid deeds of her harlotry. On her forehead was written a name, which is a mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. I saw that the woman was drunk on the blood of the holy ones and on the blood of the witness to Jesus. Hold on. Let's see what the Ignatius Bible has to say about that, because you're above my pay grade there. Not official teaching, obviously, just a guide. Scarlet Gold. Jeremiah once described Judah and Jerusalem as a harlot, dressed in scarlet and decked in fine gold. Ezekiel likewise pictured Jerusalem as a young woman arrayed in gold and fine linen who became a harlot. Golden cup, the image comes from Jeremiah 51:7, which depicts Babylon as a golden cup filled with the wine of madness. Madness. Recalls the mark of the beast. Guilty of murderous bloodshed, the vision recalls Old Testament laws that declare the consumption of blood an abomination before the Lord. I'll go with that, because I don't know. Revelation's hard. Don't tell me it's easy. Don't tell me you have it figured out. It's hard. But thank you. Would it be possible for you to move that microphone out of the way and put on a headset so it looks like we're in a Teams meeting for those of us who watch from work, allegedly asking for a friend? Yeah? But I don't think you'll be able to hear me. Oh, let me try. Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me over here? Yeah, I can pull up a spreadsheet. I've got that timeline. Oh, whoops, I'm going the wrong way. I got that timeline that I could pull up, and it kind of looks like a spreadsheet. I'll say this. When I was an employed human being a few months ago, I did my Teams. We didn't use Teams. That's a garbage program. We used Google Meet at the company I was at. And sometimes people would make us use Teams on external calls, and I hated them. What a tragic program. Can you imagine a worse program than Microsoft? And everyone uses it because Bill Gates' dad was cruel and unusual. It comes down to that. We're all using Teams because Bill Gates' dad had some Planned Parenthood role or something. That's how cruel this world is. We're all forced to use substandard software because of it. Probably off topic and irrelevant, but I never watch live. Buck fever is real. Adrenaline would make shooting not a deer possible. First try. Why wouldn't you watch live? Live every day, or 4 days a week, 5 days a week if you remember. I do think people are making a big, too light a deal out of a 22-year-old kid being able to make that shot. Particularly after just having screwed the gun together. I think people are taking that way too lightly. And we've kind of let them off the hook easy on it. We got all these macho guys. I can make that shot. I'll teach a 6-year-old in 4 minutes to make that shot. I got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. Can you get them to make the shot? I'd love to see it. I want to challenge somebody. I've not seen this done. I want someone to assemble that rifle in under 8 minutes, lie down prone, and make a 142-yard shot. And they've got about 20 seconds after they lie down to pull the trigger. I'd love to see it. I don't know if it's possible. I don't think anyone's done. I don't see any off the first quick search. I'd love to see someone make that shot that quick. Very, very concerned that people are making too light of that. Praying for answers, for hearts to be changed and confessions to come. Also for strength, perseverance, and wisdom for all the investigations. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, so I think there are a few people we could pray for in particular that might help. Andrew's a lost cause. We prayed for Andrew for a long time as a group. And then Andrew goes out and starts pawning off what I believe is a manufactured itinerary as his own itinerary. Notice he didn't have the onions to do it himself and just come out and post it on his Twitter feed. He went through some gal that ended up humiliating herself over it, trying to be relevant. So that was a mistake. But it shows me that his conscience is just turned to stone. I think we need to pray for Dan Flood and Mikey McCoy. Those are the two I think are the most human. Both of them, well, I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go into their families and all that. I think both of them are ripe. Drill down. Pray for them. Pray for them. When the Kirk saga has ended, will you continue to investigate other cases or injustices? Yeah, I'll do a show. Saving your videos in a folder for my kids and future grandkids to refer back to when all this is talked about in school books 60 years from now, like JFK and MLK. The decentralized intelligence agency will go down in history. It's pretty impressive what's happened as a community. Do you think this moon launch was really more to gain info on the Atlas asteroid, which may be closer or more detrimental than they say? Or do the Axel planes go over Butler on said days? Blessings. That's a good question. There were no Axel planes at the time. That's the issue with there. They were using prop planes back then to do similar types of surveillance. That ISR 6500 platform is new. It's still being tested in some ways. So certainly I don't believe it would have been those Axel planes. But there would have been some kind of ISR equivalent that they were using at the time. But we could go back and look over the skies of Butler on that day. It's within the realm of possibility something like that happened. About the moon launch is so fake. What the Atlas 2 launch or the Artemis 2 launch, it was so fake. Guys, they're floating around behind the moon. They're like approaching and going around the moon a couple times and coming home, allegedly. And they're up there like opening tomato soup. And they're talking, oh, here's how I eat tomato soup in the moon. Bro, turn the camera toward the dadgum window. You're describing the sun setting behind the earth and seeing the northern lights up there. Show me. Show me the northern lights. Show me the sun. Give me one shot of the sun. Give me just one. You keep telling me it's there. I'd like to see it. Please? Stop showing me graphics of the Milky Way that are ripped off of Google from 2008. Did you see that? Again, when you're doing something real, you don't have to manufacture evidence. You don't have to show Tyler Robinson somewhere at 8:07 when he wasn't there until 10:07 unless you're trying to manufacture evidence. You don't have to show me a Discord confession when he's already in custody. You don't have to lie about what time he was taken into custody. Excuse me. You don't have to lie about what time he was taken into custody if you're telling the truth. And if you're in space and you're taking pictures, you don't have to rip images off of Google from 2008. Nonsense, people. Nonsense. Did I miss the proof? Excuse me. I hope I'm not getting sick. Did I miss the proof that those weren't Erica's kids in the photo? You said we'll talk about that later, but I don't remember hearing it. Thanks. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. All in due time. Good, ma'am. All in good time. All in due time. EKH Ultras. And I'm not getting on to you. I can't give you everything the same day. Like the shows have an order. We roll things out on time. But yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. EK's ultrasound at Camelback Women's in Scottsdale was mentioned yesterday. Fact, her OB died suddenly 2 months after their baby boy was born. Everyone keeps saying that. No one has sent me a link. I would like to see a link, not from a podcaster saying it, not from, I want to see an obituary. I want to see an article saying he died suddenly. I want something saying that's her OB. Like I can say someone like Charlie Kirk's urologist died suddenly the day after September. His neck doctor died. It's just me saying it. And I see that all the time, but no one has given me a link. I've seen it a million times on Twitter. No one said, here's the proof. You notice when we say things, we pull up documents. And I'm not getting on to you, but I pull up documents. If I say someone lives somewhere, here's a document. If I say this is where their business headquarters, here's a document. Their business was founded in 2021, here's a document. Charlie Kirk changed his address on Charlie Kirk LLC from the office to a P.O. box down the road on September 9th, the day before he passed away. Here's a document. Like, we prove it. I think that's why people like the show. So I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm saying I've yet to see evidence of it, other than people saying it. Baron, now's a good time to let everyone know you are not suicidal or prone to accidents and are in great health. I am. I'm in great health. I take my blood pressure regularly. It's very good. I take supplements that are very good. I only take one medicine, and it's for asthma. And you guys hear me hacking around all the time, so you know I need it. I live a wonderful life with 8 wonderful kids. Got some great milestones coming up. Looking forward to them. Anticipate celebrating them. Can't wait to celebrate them. Look forward to holding my grandkids. Look forward to walking my daughters down the aisle. Like, there's a lot. Love the show. Love my job. Love my family. I'm good. I'm good. If something happens to your humble host, put as much effort into finding the answer as I've put into this. Please. Please. I do a podcast with weaponry on the desk, just in case. FYI, there were news reports right after the Discord chats that came out that Discord people could not find the chats on their servers. They said this within the first week after 9/10. I've heard of that. I think there's a lot to that. Join membership tonight following for months, and you have inspired me to return to CrossFit and mend my relationship with my faith. Thanks, Baron. Christ is King indeed. Both excellent. One for your body, one for your soul. And I'll say this. A lot of people don't, like, this is a very Catholic thing. I don't think a lot of Protestants view it this way. The Catholics view the body as essential. Like, I hear some people say, oh, you just have this earthly tent, you just die. No, that's not the Catholic theology. The body's critical to the soul. And when you take care of it, you feel better. And when you feel better, your soul is in better shape. So I encourage you, get back into the gym 2, 3, 4 days a week. Eat well. Meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some starch. Some fruit, little starch, no sugar. Meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. You'll feel better instantly, overnight. Logic Books for Kids, illustrated book of the exact Fed Slop narrative of the event, includes selling the SUV, paving over the scene. No child would believe it's a true story that makes any sense. We've let them off the hook on this paving the scene business. Something's got my allergies going in here. We've let them off the hook on this paving over the scene business. They cut up the sod, rolled it up, removed it, and put down pavers, and then put down large pots with large planters with flowers. That's not normal. And they did it on the fly. And now we have the receipts. They bought the pavers at Lowe's. I can prove it. They just released it the other day. I don't know if a judge would let it in, but I would sure try like hell to get that in if I'm the defense. They paved over the scene, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they paved over the scene. R.I.P. Tusco. Talking about the elephant. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning this forgotten, magnificent animal. He died in about 45 minutes. Jolly was a monster. I tried to warn you. He's absolutely a monster. Baron, I love your opening statements. I feel like I'm always learning something new from you. Oh, thank you. Lisa Mack. My IQ is getting higher every day thanks to you. I have that effect on people. Great shows this week. Keep pushing. I am. Thank you, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. You're someone else. Jumping in live to let you know how much I appreciate everyone praying for each other. Not only is this a high IQ outfit, but an empathetic community. Baron, thanks for the laughs when we need them. Yes, the community's great here. Any thoughts on Sylvia Plath? Ruled a suicide. Her abusive husband inherited everything. Also, why don't we ever question the other big security guys? Well, it's hard to get past Dan Flood when he's doing this. So I think he soaks up a lot of the attention and needs a lot of prayers. But I don't know. I mean, I question everybody in the SUV. I don't know about the rest of them, but I certainly question everybody in the SUV. I don't know about Sylvia Plath. I know nothing about her. What was she? I can pick. Is it like an old woman with fake dyed red hair? That's what's coming to mind. Couldn't have missed that more wrongly if I had to. American poet and novelist who became a celebrated voice in the 20th century, known for confessional poetry, shocking honesty, explored mental anguish. I never heard of her. I'm sure she's great. First super chat, lots of key positions were shuffled prior to the Big Bang. FBI, hospital, police, UVU, maybe more. You know if those people are still in place? You rock? I think so. You could keep going. You could get, there's a lot more than that. Lots of key positions, like the medical examiner. Lots of key positions were shuffled. Did you see what Daddy Trump just said today about CO Tucker Megan? Yeah, I just read part of it. Tucker's been talking about a little town in Western Pennsylvania, but that is the issue. I heard him mention it briefly. Baron, your punctuality. Hey, time is time. Time is money. You know what? If I'm late, that tells me I think more of my time than yours. And I don't. Punctuality, integrity, wit, humor, intelligence, efficiency. Efficient. Haven't heard that very many times. A lot of people complain about the length of the program. Spirit and professionalism, among other things, are things that set you apart and are very appreciated. RBP is the best podcast. Well, that's your opinion. And I appreciate it, Christine. Thank you. That was very kind words, very high praise. In video of allegedly, supposedly TR, camera pans away, not to hide shadow. I think it is avoiding car circling lot. I do too. Looks like the car that follows him out of the parking lot later on. Well, it's not, because the one circling in the lot, I believe, is a Toyota RAV4. And the one that follows him out of the parking lot's a Lexus. But I do believe that's why. It's my opinion that car either dropped someone off or picked someone up. Maybe they'll release the whole video later on and we won't know, but I think that car either dropped someone off and picked someone off and it sped out of the parking lot quickly. So something was going on there. Created the web app of the Kirk assassination. Good. There's a lot of good apps out there. Just saw EK in an episode of a show called Summer House. Once again, Spotlight Fiend. Yeah, see, her roommate, I think, was one of the, I don't want to say stars, but the cast members. And I think she was on one or two of the episodes as kind of the hanger on. I hope you received my mask card for you and family. Great work, Crisis King. I did, and on one of the member shows, I did a mail call, and I'm hoping to get to the PO box before tomorrow, and I'll do the same thing on the member show tomorrow if there's anything there. I think the RFK poster's there. I'm very much looking forward to that. So I anticipate trying to get by there. I have to go by in business hours because some of the stuff doesn't fit in the box, and then I inevitably have to go to the desk and pick it up. So it's hard for me to get by there. But I hope to get by there before the show tomorrow. And but yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it. It was a mask card. It was like, there was also a 5-year membership in some society or something. But I thank you. Thank you. You are on fire, my guy. Look up James Traficant. I know James Traficant. Great hair. Great head of hair. Former United States representative in his battle with AIPAC leading up to his mysterious death. Yeah, have you guys seen James Traficant's great head of hair? I loved that guy. He was not my kind of, look at this. Look at this head of hair. This is great. I miss this guy. Now, he might have been on the wrong side of the political aisle for me. Let me see if I can get the head of hair in there. I can't. There. That's the best I can do. Look at that head of hair he's got. It's clearly a rug. But he didn't have any shame in it. Here's the thing with his rug. He didn't do the Mike Rogers rug. You know, Mike Rogers from Alabama has an obvious rug, but he tries to make it look real. No, not James Traficant. He's like, just give me an old rug. And I'm going to work. And I loved it. I liked him. I liked Dennis Kucinich. They were kind of around at the same time. Both on the other side of the political aisle, but both shared a lot of political beliefs of mine, even though they were Democrats. I highly respected and really liked both of them. Dennis Kucinich caused so many problems, they eventually just zoned him out. They redistricted him with someone else that he couldn't beat. It was crazy. Traficant they just killed. No offense, but did he have a fall off a tractor or something and get run over? It was awful, whatever it was. Did you know Jack Ruby was born Jacob Rubenstein? I did. Mainstream media conveniently left that out. I think this calls for a further high IQ deep dive. There were a lot of similar type people involved in the JFK assassination. Thank you for 2 months of membership. A mom of 7, youngest are 4-year-old triplets, and I just have to say your show keeps me sane. You have 4-year-old triplets and you're sane? I'm glad we can help. Thanks for all you do. God bless you and your family. P.S. I got to pick one member between you and CO, and you won. I hope you enjoy tomorrow's show. Jessica, anyone who is a mom of 7 and has 4-year-old triplets, my hat's off to you, my dear. My hat's off to you. Wow. 4-year-old triplets. Amazing. The greatest want of the world is the want of men who will not be bought or sold, who in their inmost souls are true and honest, who will stand for the right though the heavens fall. Thank you, Barrett. Thank you. I hope I'm one of them. Barrett, I'm a pre-med student studying neuroscience, wanting to get some advice on a conservative woman wanting to have a career in medicine, but also wanting a family young. You are incredible. Thank you. That's a lot of advice. So there's a lot that can be done in medicine, like concierge medicine. I have one of those that, well, I don't use it much anymore, but used to come by the house occasionally. You know, kid gets sick and you don't want to take him to the doctor, just have somebody come by. It's like an old school doctor. They show up with a bag. I haven't done that in a while, actually. We don't get sick that much. Or if I haven't gotten the flu in a couple of years, but a couple of years ago I had the flu and called the concierge doctor, and the concierge doctor comes over. That way I don't have to go and wait in a waiting room. I don't have to go be around other sickies. They make sure you're not dying. And then they can give you cool stuff like 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C and NAD+. Vitamin D injections, like get you back on a faster path, like get you tuned up. Stuff the doctor's not going to do. They're just going to give you Tamiflu and poison or whatever and head out the window. And so, you know, something like that would be good because they could spend a lot of time at home. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe ask around to other medical professionals and say what would be a flexible profession. You're such a joy to watch and listen to. Very grateful you are part of my life experience. God bless you and your beautiful family with peace, love, joy, and abundance. Oh, we have plenty of abundance. Please stop paying for that. Unless it's other types of abundance, like abundance of healthy food or something. But we have plenty of children. I love them, but we got a lot. We got plenty. And we're old. I'm ready to be a granddad. I'm already a dad of 8. Bring on the granddad years. But thank you for that. Very high praise. Aunt endured MK at Allen Memorial. I was transported, abused since birth, escaped. I don't know if that word's one of the flagged words YouTube hits or not, but I'm not going to say it. A cycle. Grandpa Brigadier General Gosling. We need advocacy. We deserve to be human. Most were tested on and thrown out. Holy mackerel. That's a real tragic story there. You know what? You should find a way to tell that story. Like, preserve that in some capacity. A book, a magazine article, a blog post, a podcast. There should be some way you preserve that, even if you want to do it anonymously. That sounds like an incredible testimony because you're watching a high IQ outfit. You're part of a high IQ outfit. It sounds like you've made a pretty good life for yourself after that, which is incredible. I have friends like this. They had every reason to fail and they didn't. They refused. And no offense, but it sounds like you're in that camp and you just refuse to fail. So Congratulations, but you should find a way to preserve that story. Derek Green, if you're watching, please know that I have you in my thoughts and prayers. Baron, may God continue to bless you and keep you safe. Your conviction is paramount. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, Daryl, I prayed for you last night, and our other friend who was in a similar boat. But Baron, is there body cam footage of the gun search, especially the canine part, which would prove visually that the gun wasn't there before the feds arrived? Thank you, and God bless you. Christ is king. There are developments on that front, but I'm not at liberty to discuss them at present. But I believe we're right. I believe we're right on that. And I wish I could say more right now, but I can't. I thought this week would be slower without CO. Ma'am, your humble host was on the air 12, almost 16 hours this week already. What made you think it would be slow? Can't watch live today, but wanted to hop on and point out that the TPUSA tribute to CK is 3 minutes and 33 seconds long. Noticed it today and thought it was odd. Just a bullet point. Hey, let's not talk about bullet points in the a data point. I think that's why we're using data point these days. Everybody's saying data point. Someone pointed that out the other day, and all of a sudden I'm hearing it everywhere. I didn't realize I was saying it. Last time you told me Moses was the most humble man alive, I think I heard Coach say you knew him. But me, the most humble man alive, though respectfully, sir. I didn't know you were the most humble man alive, and you're yelling it, so we know that's true. Yeah, Moses said he was the most humble man alive. I did not know Moses. I'm not that old. I was born during the Carter administration, not the Ramses administration. I will say this about Frank Turek. I told you he's like a guilty pleasure watching some of his theological stuff because some of it's pretty good. I was watching a video of Frank Turek one time. This is a while back. And he was talking about Moses. And he mentioned just offhandedly that the Egyptians had identified this figure. I can't remember his name. It's like Sin. It's like 3 syllables. It's got E-N in it somewhere. U-N maybe. Maybe. Let me look up his name. This is a good story, and I want to look up his name. Who did the Egyptians think Moses was? Maybe that's the way I can find it. Oh, gosh. No, it's not. That's not the way to find it. Let me look up Frank Turek Moses. See if I can find it that way. Moses Egyptian tomb, because he pointed out a tomb or something. Oh, Sin and Mut. I told you it's 3 syllables, and it had E-N in it. Memory's not that bad, huh? I'm kind of impressed myself right there. Senenmut, Senemut. Look up Senenmut and Moses. It's kooky. I mean, it's crazy. I think he might be right. Assuming everything they said was true in the video, but I think he might be right. It was crazy. I'd never heard that before. Thank you, Frank Turek. Now take your shooting glasses off and tell us who killed Charlie Kirk and why and how. But in the meantime, thank you. Senenmut. It was an Egyptian, I think he was like a nobleman or raised to be a nobleman. And then about the time of the Exodus disappeared off the face of the earth and the Egyptians no longer mentioned him ever again, but they built this gigantic area that was going to be his tomb when he died. It's crazy. Like I started thinking about it. I was like, that's Moses. That's Moses. I know you can't practice law in Utah, but you consult with defense if asked. Please get security for you and family. Prayers for you all. I have security. Don't worry about me. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Can I consult with defense if asked? I would not do it without informing you. I'll say that. I would probably take their call. I would take their call. But I would tell them before we exchanged any ideas or any questions or any conversation. I would say, listen, I'll be happy to talk to you, but you have to understand I'm going to at least tell them I've talked to you. I won't necessarily disclose everything we talked about, but I am going to say I talked to you, because what I don't want people to think is I've lost objectivity or I'm somehow shading things one way or the other. So I'm going to continue to cover the case. I would have to tell you, if you want to talk to me, I'm going to continue covering the case the exact same way I've been covering it. I'm willing to keep things confidential if you don't want me talking about it, but I will tell them that I've talked to you and I've agreed to keep some stuff confidential. I would, but I don't think they're going to call. I wish they would. Price is king indeed. What if the surveillance plane shot off into the air to create a noise distraction? Also, the side-by-side TR video just to match the walk and set up as Pat. Well, the walk is different because one of them he's limping and one of them he's not, which could indicate it's two different people, or it could indicate got a gun down his pants, which I don't believe. I don't think the surveillance plane shot off into the air though. There was, and it was 25 minutes after the event, so I don't think there's much to that. Bubba Baron, hey, you've got that. Look, before I get to your comment, you have that Minnesota M. I was in Minnesota years ago, so 10, 15 years ago for work. I take a deposition of an electrician of all things the next morning, and we didn't have anything to do that night. And I was there with my law partner. I was like, "What are we gonna do?" And Minnesota was ranked, I think, in like the top 5 in basketball. I was like, let me see if they're playing. And they were. And Michigan was also very highly ranked at the time. And they were in town to play Minnesota. I was like, I've seen that gym on the TV 1,000 times. I love basketball. Let's go to the game. And we did. And I watched a Minnesota basketball. I think Michigan might have won. I can't remember. But we went to the Minnesota game. And I had a great time. And that gym is as old in person. It looks older in person than it looks on TV. And it looks ancient on TV. Looks like Moses played in it. Back to Moses. All right, now to your comment. Bubba Barron, my fiance and I have been watching your show since October. Sound like a brilliant fiance. We're getting married this Saturday. Wanted to celebrate by sending our first super chat on your last show we watched before saying I do. Thanks for all you do. Hey, my prayers are with you, friend. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but my prayers are with you. I hope you have a wonderful marriage. I hope you treat each other with tremendous respect. If I could offer one piece of advice, read the book, His Needs, Her Needs. People hate that book, but I love it. I feel like it saved my marriage. We were having a rough go of it for a few years. And we read His Needs, Her Needs. And all of a sudden I was like, this is why. I've been doing it all wrong. Sidney Gottlieb was not the architect of Mortal Kombat Ultra. British military intelligence and British psychiatrist Dr. William Sargent was in the 1930s. Opened Tavistock Institute. Gottlieb, CIA, got it from them. I believe you. But I think from an American perspective of the American program, Gottlieb gets most of the credit. I'm not doubting your research. Baron, new funniest LOL moment on your show. Your spoof of the philosophy discussion between EK and CK on their date. Had to watch a day late and regretted not getting to comment when you did it live. Plato, classic. Yes. I imagine it went a lot like that. The sun is what's great about Arizona. We got plenty of it. More sun than kitty litter. You got plenty of kitty litter. I know people took that hard. I heard from people on that, but I want to show you something. Where's my Google Earth? Where was that? Here it is. I can back this up here because I'm already in the Western United States. I just want to show you something. I want to show you what you people look at out there. So this is Arizona. Y'all don't come at me acting like there's not a lot of kitty litter out there. Look at this thing. Everywhere you go, it's just brown sand. Look at this. Just brown sand. Everywhere you go, need more brown sand. Now, you do have some grass where you've piped in some water and you spray it around, but it's just brown sand. You come up here, look at it, more brown sand. Now, I will say this. My wife and I spent some time on the Navajo. Oh, this right here in Pinyon. We spent some time in this area right here, near Pinyon, a little town called Burnt Corn Valley. I doubt it's on a map. It truly was beautiful. We climbed a little rock out there called Nose Rock Mesa, and we got up real high. I don't know how high it is, but it's kind of up on the like cliff almost. And we climbed up the face of the cliff, and then you look out and you can see for like 1,000 miles, and it's beautiful. It really is. Oh, this might be it. This looks exactly where we were. They had a little hogan in the middle. I don't know if this is it, but I'll show you. This is kind of like where we live, or where we not live, but where we visited. It looked just like this. There's little octagon things, or hogan here in the middle, and then they had like little houses out around them. But it's just, this might have been this little area. It was just East Opinion, right out here. But we really enjoyed it. See this, like, you can climb up on these things. See, they got these, everything's an octagon out there. I never quite understood that. Don't they know that hexagon is the bestagon? There are better agons than an octagon. But yeah, so there's more than kitty litter, but there's a lot of it. Okay, look, liars lying, some more. What a surprise. Yeah, I agree. Bayron, you are a hero. So appreciate all your tremendous work. Psych major, forensic psych major. I always incorporated God into my psych classes when I taught. My daughter goes to Lipscomb. CIT. I don't know what CIT means, but I agree with you, whatever it says. Lipscomb's great. You know, the elementary school I went to was also called Lipscomb. It wasn't the private school, it was the public school a little south of there. But it was named after David Lipscomb's brother. I think his name was William Lipscomb. So weird little connection there. I wish you were my solicitor. Great work, Baron. You must be a foreigner. You're in Elbucks. You must be in England. Hey, I actually was set to try a case over there. I had to get admitted to the Queen's Bench. I had to get admitted to the Gray's Inn of Court. I had to get fitted for a robe and a what are those things called? Wig? Yeah. Got my passport renewed. Was all set to go, and then our client died right before the trial, a month or so before the trial. But yeah, we were going to go to England and try a case over there. I'd tried cases in different state and federal courts around America, but I'd never tried a case overseas. And I had to take I had to take a test or something, or certify that I read a book, and I did. And it had all the rules in it. Weird stuff over there. You guys try cases totally differently than we do. Totally differently than we do. I was excited. And then he died. I didn't kill him. And nothing to do with it. Serious business, folks. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the comment. Very kind of you. What if Baron and Candace used the information they've gathered in this case to have an AI produce a short film based on the known facts? I don't hate that. Hi, Baron. Thank you for everything. Question for flat earthers and your opinion, please. Why would the earth be flat when the rest of our planets are round? That's my opinion. You've nailed it. I don't know. I think the earth is round. Isn't it amazing? Both people are walking along almost the exact same path. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Amazing. Such a great education on so many levels. Graduated Auburn U Montgomery, 1974. Only one person there was as super IQ as you, and you weren't even born yet. God blessings to all here now. I'll let you in on a little secret. I took, I think, 2 classes at AUM in my day. I took a strategic management class there, and I took a finance class there just because I was trying to hurry up and graduate. And so I took class somewhere else. But it's I had a great experience there. Great experience there. Can you please explain, speculate why EK would need to hire a group of attorneys, i.e., for example, Alexander Acosta? Well, she didn't hire Acosta. She hired Neiman and or Nyman. And Nyman represented Alexander Acosta. But I'll get to your question. What would even be the potential purpose, reason? Keep going. Best investigation on YouTube, in my opinion. Thank you for that high praise. I asked the same question yesterday. She hired 4 attorneys that entered an appearance on this case. 4 attorneys entered an appearance on this case. She's a victim. They got a whole prosecution. I have no idea. I can't even think of a reason why. B, search National Geographic, President Bush secret Turkey Day dinner in Iraq. Security says changed call signs and AF1 to a Gulfstream. Trust nothing. Go Max. I'll check that out. I fear for Tyler's safety. This case is getting completely blown open. Way too many points that are lies or cannot be proven beyond reasonable doubt. Agreed. I also fear for his safety. Not every day the shadow calculator gets broken out. Such a high IQ outfit. You're the best. I use the tools available to me. I would have never been able to do that without a shadow calculator. My theory, just a random guy walking to school on 2 different days. Thoughts on that? Also, thanks, Baron. Been watching for months now. Yeah, could be. Could be. Could have also been one of the mini patsies set up for that day, or two of them. Ask Andrea Burkhart how GH ruined one trial. Who's GH? I don't know what that means. Also, remember the shadow on the roof when the supposed shooter ran off the roof, appeared to disappear. I do recall that, and I've seen some people explain it away, and I don't know if there's anything to it or not. Oh, Gray Hughes. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back to this now. Ask Andrea Burkhart how Gray Hughes ruined one trial. Okay, I will. Gray Hughes, the biggest Fed slopper ever. Yes, I agree with that because that's why I played select clips of that video. If you watch the rest of the video, then he starts talking about, and I don't see how he didn't let go. Wait a minute, this isn't possible. He starts talking about, well, that means Tyler must have been here and then here, and he must have parked over here, and he must have driven over here, and must have walked over here. Thinking, who does that before they go take out who go assassinate somebody? It's ludicrous. Ludicrous. Not the rapper. But Baron, remember Inspector Gadget? You're him. But the Baron version. Go Gadget, shadow length calculator. You gotta have it, ladies and gentlemen, in the arsenal, in the repertoire. The picture on the right has way more tar lines, and there's no tree shadow. Looks like there's no tree on Google Maps. The left is older. I didn't even consider the fact they could be on different days. Interesting. You know what I might do? I might run that shadow calculator on different days of the year because I noticed the light was much brighter one day than the other, but or one time of the one picture than the other. I just figured a cloud was rolling over or something. But you might be onto something. That might have been 807 in the spring or 807 dead in the middle of the summer. I'm going to check different days at 807. Good call. Good call. Hi, Baron. How smart is Cash PayPal, would you say? 1 out of 10? 10 being Sigmund Freud smart? Sigmund Fraud smart? You talking about Cash Patel? I don't think he's dumb. I just don't think he's very effective. And I think there's probably a reason why. Grayson is very insulting towards you on X, Baron. That's fine. Whatever. I don't care. I mean, I don't care. The shadow length was great. That's great tech. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. My 30-year-old husband had his second heart attack in less than 2 years last week. Genetics. Prayers needed. I cannot lose him. He's my best friend, and I feel lonely without him. We have 2 small kids. Crisis king indeed. Have you heard of something called nattokinase? I think I'm pronouncing that right. Nattokinase. I've been taking it. Supposed to help with blood pressure and arterial plaque and all that. Might be something to consider. If he's overweight, maybe some mastic gum. That's supposed to help you lose tremendous weight very quickly. It changes your gut bacteria and can help you shed weight. I'm just trying to help here. I'm a walking pharmacy. Baron Gray Hughes is a Fed slot pusher. I know. I'm aware. Anyone who followed Delphi can tell you. Definitely don't recommend GH. Look, I recommend his shadow tool. I highly recommend it. I think it can tell you what time of day picture was taken. Baron, please be careful with Gray. I was on one of his lives when he called you an idiot about the Google Trends. Well, then he's an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever. The Google Trends is right. People slept on the Google Trends, and then all of a sudden it made an appearance during the Nancy Guthrie case. Remember that? And Megyn Kelly was like, why is no one subpoenaing the Google records to see who was doing these searches? It's legit, guys. He said many other things. I screen recorded it. FYI, people in the chat were calling him mean and unsubscribed. That's fine. He can be mean. His shadow tool is great. I wish I had access to it. Edge. One of the best things you can do in law is use the other side's source against them. This is one of the greatest things you can do. Use their source to defeat them. I'm using Gray. I'm using his shadow stuff to prove these guys are liars. He already proved they're liars. I don't know why he's pushing FedSlop if he thinks they're liars. It's enormously satisfying to expose lies. Truth is key, but I won't gloat. I don't trust Feds, TPUSA, or other govs with this. And as a Packer fans, I've seen things change in seconds. Let's get them. You Packer fans have had a rough go of it over the years. This is like my billionth attempt at a super chat. Billionth. I had to switch my laptop, and then the first one I sent got deleted. Do not recommend Gray Hughes. If y'all follow Delphi, y'all know. Love you, B, but a hard no on GH. Again, his shadow stuff is tight. That's all I can say. Greetings, Bubba Baron from Lake District, UK. Do you remember when you repeatedly forgot to share your screen? Been a long time. I don't remember. Those are too old to think back on days like that. I have amnesia. Wild watching an alphabet agency op being debunked in real time, not 60 years later. God is good. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Baron is the bomb diggity. Doom, do, 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 do. That's no diggity. Please write a book once this is all over and CK gets justice. Currently, no one has researched this harder than you, making Charlie proud. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Can a guy get a Discord link? Oh, yeah. I'll put that up. Let me run the little banner that has everything on it. Where's that? This is all the stuff you guys always ask for. Actually, just don't email me. I think my email's on there. Oh, no, it's not. Good. That's the ticker you guys are always asking for. I'll let that run a minute or two. It drives me crazy. Got gifts falling out of the sky. Somebody's going to be a happy camper. Would the falsification of the charging document nullify the charges? Fruit of the poisonous tree. Well, that's not how the fruit of the poisonous tree works. No, it would not. It would not. The statement of facts in the charging document they're not evidence. The prosecution can use or not use them. His opinions have nothing to do with the software that wasn't developed today to make Baron look stupid. Everyone needs to chill. Agreed. Did you know the ambassador to Luxembourg is a failed actress as well? That connects to two other failed actors in LA. Allie sent me. Allie's great. I did not know she was a failed actress. But between Andrew Colvett and Erica Kirk, we have 2 Hollywood dropouts. Can you make your timeline docs and stuff publicly accessible? I will at some point, probably. Would that mean TMZ is in cahoots with the feds and the linemen regarding those photos? That could, or it could just mean that they are willing to put stuff out and everyone knows that, so they just send stuff to them. It'd be worth using the 3D shadow calculator on the guy on the roof on the Losi Center to see if it even matched the time of the Big Bang. That'd be hard to see. It's so small. It'd be hard to see where it ended. When they conspired to commit the Big Bang, they never in a million years thought we'd be here examining the Patsy shadow, among other things. That's true. That's why they tried to Fed slop this to the end. But Baron, I've been following your investigation from the beginning. Great work. What do you think the ultimate goal is with EK? CEO of TPUSA seems to be a means to an end. What's your take? That might just be getting rich and covering up a crime. Dan Bongina. Yes. He's a big one. Baron, hello from the letterbox. With all the stupid Fed slop, you think these people don't realize the internet they created exists and we can research and debunk stuff. It's extra FNG. That's correct. Everything about that is correct. I suggest for your water bottles. I suggest for your water bottles, and I want to thank you for what you've done and still doing. It will go down in history to show we know what we are doing and are done taking it quietly. Man, that's tough to read. I don't read teen very well. God bless you and your family, Baron. Well, thank you. I've been falling asleep every night to previous podcasts of yours. My dreams have been wild. Keep up the great work. And of course, Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. God bless. No, they're not too wild. Baron, Gray Hughes on Investigate on YouTube can confirm David. I know. Maybe rewind a little bit. Stickers for your water bottles. LOL darn phone. Oh, stickers for the water. Okay, I hear you. I'm work listening to the show. A coworker sent me a Teams chat asking me to send them something. I replied, hold please. Yes, that's the way to do it. 5 Membos dropped on somebody's head. Hola, security cams have Wise account cloud storage fixed date and times. Fixed data and dates. Did witness see TR on way to UVU 10 minutes later? Did we see Limp one way? Wise T timestamp 9:57 TMZ releases 8 a.m. Why Shonky? Gary, Henry, Jessica R. Kraus, all at UVU together. Houses are 2 bros. Man, there's a lot there. I don't know what all that means. About the timestamp. Yeah, I just don't know if the timestamps can be overridden. Obviously, it was pawned off as at 8:07, and it was not. There's not. And thank you. That's very generous. DQ Superman poster seems off. Movie was released on 7-Eleven promo to no. We've covered that already. The promo did not end until the end of September, I think. Been watching Gray H since Delphi Murder and Brian Kohlberger. He's great. However, he likes the Alpo. He does. That's what I hear. And I haven't watched him since. His own work shows otherwise. Crisis King. Crisis King indeed. Go Max. I just used him for the shadow analysis. It's a cool tool, guys. Update the TMZ image to photo forensics. Upload. And use the option on the bottom. It shows the time box on the left. Photo is blurred out. Hard to see. I did not know that. That's interesting to me. See? That's why we put stuff out. We get stuff back. Thank you for empowering and inspiring the people that we do have the power, ability, and courage to research and seek truth. Love from the most isolated city in the world, officially, Perth, Western Australia. Yeah, but you got a cool mint that makes cool gold coins. So that's cool. There's a lot of water at the end of the driveway. Thank you, Monica. It didn't rain in Orem on the 9th to 10th. It did rain on the 7th. Rain or runoff, I want. Interesting. Let me look at that. I don't know where my run is. I'll just pull up a new one. Probably. Oh, I see it. Oh, I got it right here. Water at the end of the driveway. Yeah, there is. It could be sprinklers. Especially if it's that'd be an interesting, 10 o'clock be an interesting time of day to run your sprinklers. Maybe someone's washing a car. Good catch, though. Good catch. You guys are good. Baron, look at who owns the house where the rifle was found. The Wits military. I did look at that. I thought he was a pilot. Gifted 5 Membos. Thank you. That photograph of Lee Harvey Oswald in his yard with the rifle and newspaper is really weird when you look at with new eyes. Everything's a psyop. Yes, I think that's a fake photo too. The shadow on the nose doesn't match the rest of it, if I recall correctly. No purple and white flowers in bed to left of driveway. Round 2, there sure is. I wasn't sure if you had caught that yet. I had not. Let me pull it back up. I closed it out because it's got a bunch of ads and stuff in it. But let me pull that back up. I'm going to have to watch the video. I'm going to have to watch an ad to watch the video. I'm going to go to another comment. I'll pull it up in a minute. The anger of all this chaos goes away when Baron Live update hits my notifications. Kristen, thank you, Kristen. I appreciate that. My anger goes away when I see your comment. Hour behind, but will you be sharing this timeline for those who wish to see it? Also, I'm a hospice nurse. Can't thank you enough for your great show to watch while driving. Okay, so I'm watching this now. We have purple flowers and white flowers when he walks by in the maroon shirt. Let me watch and see when he rolls by the second time. Purple and white flowers on the left. That's the allegedly 807 one. And we've got purple and white flowers on the next one too. Oh, no, that's the same video. Why'd they show the same one twice? I want to see the other one. They're going to make me watch another ad. These people are shameless. I'll eventually share it, but you can screen cap it. Also, I'm a hospice nurse. I can't thank you enough for the great show to watch while driving, especially the hard days. Please don't watch shows while you're driving. Listen to the shows. Crisis King indeed. And I can't imagine how hard that is. That's tough, but you get to help people. YouTube, Fox 13 Tampa title, Tennessee official shared details after large explosion at munitions manufacturing plant. Timestamp 150 phones going off before explosion. I was not aware the phones went off before the explosion. I'll have to look at that. I'll have to go back and watch that video again because they're only showing that one video and I don't know how to find the other. That's a cool tip, though. I'll look at that. Phones going off before explosion. Wonder why. Between 1 and 2 a.m., 912 jet flew into Cedar City Airport. Very unusual. 40-minute drive to Washington, Utah. Always felt it was related. Woke everyone in the house 2 blocks from where TR filled up in Cedar City. Were you there? Hold on. Let me make a note. Where's my notes? There they are. Why are they down there? Huh. Let me make a note real quick. Hold, please. Jet, Cedar City, 1 to 2A 912. Okay. Note. It's noted. Noted. I'll be watching it. I'll have to go back to ADSB because I've already looked at the airport and there was nothing that I saw that was suspicious. But I did not look at the ADSB of it. All right. The whole story of Cash delaying because of his jacket that could not have been with him, stalling as he knew TR was handling himself in as he delayed twice in front of Utah from what I read. Read that again. The whole story of Cash delaying because of his jacket could that not have been him stalling as he knew TR was handing himself in as he delayed twice in Utah from what I read. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Could have been. Could have been. Demotion says 6:25 p.m., 3:36 videos transcript. What is the first 3.5 hours? TR turned himself in at 3 p.m., approximately 3.5 hours earlier. No, that's not how I read that. Why include 3.5 hours in the video exhibit for a judge if not TR? I took that to mean minutes, seconds, and milliseconds, but maybe I'm wrong. I have to go back and look at it. Don't forget that George Zinn was on Phil Lyman's election campaign as well. Has that been proven? I'm not sure that's true. Thanks for all you do. As a procrastinating dyslexic, I'm amazed that you willingly crank out research essays 4 times a week. Merch ideas: 1 stickers, 2 you're a daisy if you sleuth. Ooh, I like that. Second. So did you hear the joke about the insomniac agnostic dyslexic? He stayed up all night wondering if there really was a dog. Yeah, I don't know. I like to research. I have fun with it. Colin has a video of 2 girls that attended TR's last court date. Forget their names, Brandy and Billy. They said one TR's family talked to them. Correct. In my opinion, Tyler's family needs to speak out, get them a burner phone, and call them. Yeah, that would help. Hope all 8 kids know how brilliant their dad is. Well, you know how kids are. Yeah, thank you, Pamela, but you know how kids are. But Baron, I think DJT was referring to Drewski. Christ is King. Well, that would be foolish. He didn't even say her name. Hoping you'll consider making clip of last night's show, 94, 331.48 to 333.50. Share why you Catholics pray to saints. You explained it well. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll consider that. Can you make the timeline a downloadable PDF in the video description so we can reference it whenever we want? Thanks. Love the lavender hoodie. Not yet, because we're still adding stuff to it, and I don't want to put out an incomplete timeline yet. Did you hear that Ben Shapiro said the Daily Wire is taking over TPUSA? I did not hear that, and I don't believe that. So I don't know where that came from. That wouldn't even make sense to me. Mr. Coleman, don't you dare hoodwink me, please. Oh, I would never. I would never. Ugh. Edge. She has that teen Valley Girl lift at the end of her words. Ick. Changes. Oh, sure. Talking about Erica? Who are we talking about? Teen talent. I don't know who you're talking about. More Membos getting dropped in on people's brains. Thank you. Thank you. Egypt off equal Axel won't see it equal plausible deniability. Okay. If we are anti-Semitic, are they anti-Christ? I think so. I think they admit they are. Do we know who lives at 800 South 847 West Orem? I believe that house uses a station. Car pulls up. I don't know. I don't want to be dropping addresses. That house was used as a station. Car pulls up as the suspect is getting away. It's a dead end street. Where do they come from? I don't know. Did the ADF lady say the board member that was leaving had been with them 33 years? Yeah, she did. Man, one of my favorite Adidas sweatshirt colors. Also, thank you, sir, for you and Daisy's diligent work. Both of you represent the type of Americans we want to be based on the ideals of this country. Thank you. It means a lot. I really appreciate that. Baron team, you probably saved a life. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I'm just trying to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. I don't think it was Tyler Robinson. 7 deadly sins in Christianity are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Baron, every individual mentioned today all carry these deadly sinful traits. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. That's a dark comment. Love the mauve and wasabi green hoodies. It's a tennis ball green hoodie, sir. It's tennis ball green. And it's not mauve. It's bean paste. I'll accept rare prime rib. Do you think anything will actually happen with this investigation of hard work, given no one being held accountable for the Einstein files? I sure hope so. For Charlie, Crisis King indeed. Thank you and team for all you do. Maybe. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. The one who actually asked about the Kentucky Senate race yesterday, there's a fourth candidate, Michael Ferris, who's an actual America First outsider. State GOP is corrupt and kept him off the polls and debates. Interesting. That doesn't surprise me. Still waiting for my order for March. On track. Never received it. I received one supply and no reply and no solutions. Yeah, I know my sister was working on one that's still out. It might be yours. That's still outstanding, and we're trying to figure out where it is. It was in shipping, and then it just shows that it's still in shipping. It's possible it was lost in transit, and we'll just have to replace it. So I'll ask her about it. Thank you for letting me know. Fan of yours since the Google Trends. Heard your support for Danks last night, which is great. If he helped, I had just unsubbed this past week because he was talking bad about you 6 days ago. Seems masochistic. He openly said he works for DOD. Look, I credit people for their good work. It's why I used Gray Hughes stuff today. I thought Danks did good work. I know people say things. I don't care. I'm just glad people are doing work. I'm not. Maybe it's a downfall of mine. I'm not one of those people that has to have somebody say something nice about me before I say something nice about them. I thought Danks' work on that was pretty good. And if it helped you, then good. If you don't want to listen to it, don't. Same thing with Ray Hughes. I thought his shadow work was excellent. I don't care what he says about me. But Danks is fine in my book. Nathan App fell on Tucker this week. Was eye-opening. I thought so. He did a good job. Mr. B, thank you for being you. Thank you for being you, Amelia Quest. I think I pronounced that right. If TR's in the parking lot, stairwell photo, walking down 30 to 40 minutes before the pew-pew, and the satellite photo is 30-ish minutes before, then his car should be in or near that lot. No. Because we have him on camera walking down that 800 West or North, whatever that street is, and we also have him walking down another side street, so he at least came from that far away. And I've looked as much as I can look to try to find his car near that campus, and I can't. I've tried. I found one candidate, but it's under a cover. And I can't tell 100% if that's it. Look at the shadow tree direction in his. It's wrong. Ooh. I'll have to check it out. Danks was right. It's not Discord, but it's Telegram. Cash is just stupid and doesn't know the difference between the two. Okay. It's still fake. It's still fake. I'm sorry. He was in custody. What is your best evidence that this isn't a complete cover-up? For me, it's the face that Tyler hasn't been muck-ducked yet. Fellow Office Seinfeld fan here. Yeah. R is a scary sound. That's why they call it muck-duck instead of murder. The best evidence that this isn't a complete cover-up? The best evidence it isn't. So, like, if I'm taking the prosecution side, what's my best evidence? My best evidence. It's not going to be the guy on the roof because he jumps off the roof in a way that I don't believe Tyler was capable of. That's a very athletic maneuver. I don't think that was him. And I don't think the stairwell photos look like him. So I don't think that's the best evidence. I think the best evidence, believe it or not, is the fact that he was even in town in Provo. Or at least his car and phone allegedly were in town. If he was in town, that's probably your best evidence. And that's not a lot to convict somebody of. It's not the gun being there. Anybody could have gotten the gun. I mean, he lived with somebody. Anybody could have gotten the gun out of the house and moved it. Not his DNA on it. Of course, his DNA is going to be on it. It's his gun. All my guns have my DNA on them. It's not the screwdriver. Anybody can grab a screwdriver out of your toolbox. That's going to have your DNA on it. I think the question is, why were you there? If he was in town, why? Like, you didn't go to the event, so why were you there? And that's to me the best evidence, and it's hard to convict somebody on why were you in town. Let's focus on what we give countries as foreign aid. Let's give everyone only 10 million. Let's see how much money flows after that. Well, I mean, 10 million didn't go very far in foreign aid. Why give anybody anything? This is the highlight of the day. This week has been fire. I think it's been a big week. According to the Vatican translator, Mauro Biglino, Yahweh is just one of multiple Elohim, modern mistranslated plural word for Sky Council, along with other Elohim, El Elyon, El Shaddai, Adonai, etc. I got to turn this banner off. It's driving me crazy. I hope you guys saw it. I believe you. I believe you. I did not know that. Hello, good sir. Airline pilot here. I'm confused about the relevance of the transponder coming on. You can power up a jet and use comms without turning the transponder on. Those are used to specifically make your location visible to the tower. Yeah, I don't know what the relevance is, but to me, it shows that there was at least power on. And if you have power on, like you said, you can use everything else. Maybe they didn't realize the transponder was coming on. Maybe they have it set up. I don't know. You tell me, but is it set up so the transponder automatically comes on and they would have to turn it off and manually override it? I don't know because I'm not a pilot, but I know if the transponder's on, that plane has to have power. And that to me is the relevance. That's all I can say because I'm not you say you're an airline pilot? Yeah. I'm not an airline pilot. Not an airline pilot. I'm certainly not a private military jet pilot. I don't know, but thank you for that. Very, very excellent expert addition. Oh no, not Gray. Pooh something. Pooh Bess. Used to follow him years back on other cases. He's a Fed slop eater. Told his audience they're stupid if they don't believe it was TR. His shadow analysis was money. That's all I can say. Name one thing in that outline that is actually Christian, please and thank you. In that outline that is actually Christian. I mean, just incorporate as oh. You're talking about the articles of faith or whatever they have? Yeah, I agree. I agree. Baron, never thought I'd enjoy giving money to a lawyer. I'll allow that because that's hilarious. But you're the exception. Such great work this week that there really are no words except thank you no matter what. We all need to hear the truth. Truly, Christ is King. Thank you. And all I can say is thank you. So thank you. Very kind phrase. We love you, Baron. Check out Yisrael Hawkins at the House of Yahweh in Abilene, Texas. Went to college down the street and we all knew it was a cult. Same beliefs, huge legal battle. Millions. Don't tell Rob McCoy that. He'll be knocking on the door. How old was Jesus when he was crucified? 33. Love your show, Baron. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. You mean he was one of those? Is there any ground for the Robinson family to sue the federal government for false imprisonment? No, none. The federal government did not imprison him. Maybe the state of Utah. Even that would be a way uphill battle. God bless all people held under false charges. Agreed. And most of them get paid out handsomely when it's figured out. Also, do shadow angles in satellite photo before event match security cam parking lot stairwell. Yeah, I think so. First time live and tip. You are my source of news, and I love your integrity and truth. Christ is King from Scotland. Well, Christ is King indeed from Scotland. My best Sean Connery. It's all I got. Cannot do better than that. Appreciate the knowledge you share, how you teach us to think critically, your willingness to do it on such a public scale. Truly a humble indeed. Humble indeed. The most humble man who've lived since Moses. Rare to find a community like this. We're here thanks to you. FBI Fed Slop, Baron Investigates. Ooh, I like that. Thank you for that. Very kind donation. Mail time tomorrow? Yeah, I hope so. I've not been by there since the last show, but I hope to get by there by tomorrow morning. It's closed now, so I can't go tonight, but I hope to get by there tomorrow morning. Let's see how the morning plays out. Me and my 78-year-old mom watch you and love you. Well, I love you guys. Holly Small and your 78-year-old mama? I bet she's great. I think we can all agree this version of DJT is not the same one we voted for. Yeah. Thus, the square. It could be that he has seen or been involved in something that's changed him. Love him or hate him, he's not the same man. Yeah. He could have been threatened or paid off, or both. I just don't think it was without one of those two possibilities. I want to say thank you for all your hard work. Drove back home from Detroit from Murfreesboro today. My dad was subjected to 8 hours of bearing. His head is spinning with information. Your old man has never been more informed than he is right now. Think about that. It's incredible. What you gave that man, unbelievable. Thank you. And thank you. Random question. Has anyone looked into any Teslas in the parking lot of school to see if there's any sightings of any one of the Tylers? Teslas automatically record movement close to cars. There are several Teslas in the parking lot. Who are the Tylers? I don't know who the Tylers are, but there are several Teslas. But Bear, undo the cars in the parking lot match between the roof jump and the overhead morning of the map photo. They do indeed. Wow, 10 of you guys getting ready to watch Zach Costello tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. Great work, Baron. You're trending on X for such amazing work. Can't wait for the show tomorrow. Right now, I'm trending on it. I know I was earlier. Is that true? I don't see it right now. I see Candace is trending. I don't know what she's trending about. Interesting. Yeah, it was yesterday's show was trending earlier, and the morning before the night before was trending. So apparently, people liked the content, or at least we're talking about it. Maybe they didn't like it. Gray Hughes already calling you a clown on X. He gives me the ick. That's fine. I don't care. Gray, I'm a bigger man than you apparently, because I used your work to show that the feds lied, or that somebody lied and put out a fake photo to support the Fed slop. Whatever. Baron, you son of a biscuit. You're a fracking genius. Yes, indeed, a fracking genius. Yes, indeed, a fracking genius. Let's search this Gray Hughes nonsense. Where is he on? He investigates. He only has 6,400 followers. I don't care what he says. I don't see him talking about me. Oh. Yes, it says 807, which is incorrect. That was an error by Candace Owens. What was an error? Okay, I see he's talking about it. But good. It was in fact 10:07 a.m. That's what I'm saying. Why can you call me a clown? Yeah. Money. Look, dude, you're right there with me. Look at this. Hold on, I got to show you guys this. I don't know why you call me a clown. I'm in here like giving you mad props for your work. Where is this? There we go. Gray Hughes investigates. He did, and he did a good job. Here are two time comparisons. They match perfectly unless you want to pretend you don't know they don't support a different narrative. Yeah. That's exactly what I said. Here's the comparison 1150. Correct. Oh, I'm using his car salesman preacher-like speaking ability to sell complete garbage. No, I'm just telling what you did. Nailed it. He's right on the money. Here's a look at the software view I'm using. Maybe he misunderstands my point. I'm agreeing with him. This could be a misunderstanding, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't pick fights with people. I don't care what he says about me. And the fact that he's on there drawing more attention to the fact that the photo's fake is great. What credence, what credence, if any, do you give to the reported online trans chatter days, weeks before the takeout? Sorry if you've covered this. I'm a new member, best show ever. None. I think it's also fake and gay. And I can use that in that context. What perfect it's the best context to use it. Like the Artemis 2 flight, fake and gay, but not in the same way. Not in the same way. Baron, love you, my brother. I love you too. I will say this with all sincerity. Your pursuit of truth has given me strength in my faith and gotten me to read my Bible daily. Many thanks. Go Iowa Hawks. Well, thank you for that. I have not forgiven Iowa for the Luke Recker stealing back in the early 90s. One day I'll get over it. 30 years is not enough. But other than that, thank you. Thank you. My likes are half brain rat shorts to show friends and my likes are half brain rat shorts to show friends and half high IQ outfit. Any thoughts on the fact that Nefarious has a 35 critic score, but a 95 audience score? Don't want us to learn something, maybe? Yeah, that's often the case with good movies. The critics hate it and the audience loves it. Lackland Air Force Base is where the Air Force boot camp is done. Interesting. I did not know that. Well, you weren't mentioned in Trump's low IQ outfit post today, but we know he's watching. That's because I'm not low IQ. And he knows that. Thank you. And thank you. Never mind. Oh, no mind paid. Just research. House belongs to Samuel Steele. Yes. Interesting. We need a documentary created covering the CK investigation for the world to see. Too many here have no idea. Bless you and yours. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, debunked that it was an Apple device. Oh. Well, good. Team thanks. Has Charlie Kirk case affected your opinion on certain aspects of the Republican Party? No, but a lot of other things have. A whole lot of other things have. A whole lot of other things have. Could those parking spots be assigned student or teacher parking that look the same every day? Yeah, they could, I suppose. I don't know. Just a thought. The UVU parking lot allocated space. Okay, good. Obviously, two of you think the same thing. Cars always parked in the same position. Any previous satellite images? You're fabulous. Fabulous. Saying I'm faking gay. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. I'll accept fabulous as a compliment. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why the cars are always in the same position. I'm not ruling out that they didn't do some funny business with it, but I don't know. CO talked about Brigitte's military boat or sub visiting Clipperton Island just before the Big Bang. There's a Jacques Cousteau episode on it. Petroleum industry, Wilks fam funded treasure hunts. I was not aware of that. I was not aware of that connection. Baron, were you aware the Secretary of War Crimes, Hegseth, said no Catholics, Protestants only on Good Friday at the Pentagon? Well, I don't think he said no Catholics allowed, but I think he said they were not going to have a Catholic service. I did hear that. Pastor Doug Wilson is called to ban public expressions of Catholicism in the United States. Again, I think that's an overread of what he said. And again, I'm on your team. But I don't think he called for a ban on public expressions of Catholicism. I think what he said was he would limit public things like, I don't want to say marches, but, where you walk around with I can't even think of the right word, sacramentals, for lack of a better word. But yeah, I've heard all that. Where do you see, look, again, I can't get over the threat against the Pope. Like I'm still heated about that and don't want to talk about it. Where do you see our country world after all is said and done? After all is exposed? Do I need to stock up on ammo? Everyone should stock up on ammo. Lord in Psalm 118:26, Yahweh Hebrew, Strong's 3068. I'm sure that means something important, but I don't know what it does. I don't know what that means. Pray for Baron's safety. Also, please like, share, and comment to boost this video. Baron went Max. I always go Max, sir. Hey, Baron, just making sure you knew Lionel was also a criminal trial lawyer. I'm aware. Great minds think alike. Love the connection. Charlie brought us all. Yeah, I'm aware. And like I said, I'm a big fan of Lionel's. A huge fan. Baron, seeing all these ex-trolls bash you lets me know you're right on the target. You're a godsend. Keep being unapologetically you. We love Baron and I added the Daisy. Thank you. Daisy's always a tremendous help to putting these shows together. But yeah, I'm not worried about people bashing me. I'm not doing this to be liked. Thoughts on Trump's Truth Social about Candace Tucker today? Called them low IQ, said Brigitte Macron is better looking than Candace. Trump is off his rocker. Yeah, that's good. That's completely nonsense. So that's. I'm not going to attack a man for his looks. So I don't want to comment on the comparisons, but I don't think many would agree with that. Love your show. Thank you for being courageous enough to speak truth. I'm start a Christian-based nonprofit for domestic abuse and learn to be very cautious with who I bring on the team. Yes, you should be. You're going to have a lot of vultures circling. Thank you for the prayers and reverence last night when I super chatted about my husband's passing. Praying for Dara as she grieves as well. Love this community. Lizzie, thank you so much. That was an emotional night for me. Like I had to decompress after that. So thank you for following up. Thank you. Do you think they talked about the necklace so much to create a red herring? Or are they not that smart? No, I think they talked, Harvey, I think they talked about the necklace so that people wouldn't think anything about the necklace. They're just not very bright. And by the way, Baron, y'all have been asking for an update about update. The email is the update. Just send it. We'll take less than a minute 42 to read. I'm not going to read a minute 42 long email. I just want an update. Give me a chat update. I'm amazed show after show how thorough you are. Extremely high IQ. Crisis King indeed. And thank you for that very high praise. But Baron, no. What age do you think discernment takes hold? Since we are on the brainwashing theme, you know it starts very, very early. I mean, I think discernment starts at like day one. What would be the reason the group would be gearing up to sue CO on behalf of someone else? Well, I've asked myself that same question because when I heard that, I thought, how is that possible? But it could be that they're using their lawyers, their legal team, their donations to support a lawsuit on behalf of someone else. So they find a plaintiff and then they support it. That's typically what happens in those types of cases. You find a plaintiff and then you, like the ACLU often doesn't sue. Sometimes they do on behalf of the ACLU, but they'll find some disabled person and they'll go in and they'll sue on behalf of some ADA violation. So that happens. Your Majesty, I'm listening. Charlie had realized the college crowd had turned against your greatest allies. I do believe that played a part in him changing his mind. He wouldn't have been able to win a debate on that. Thanks. Yeah, he was losing those debates. He was getting muck ducked. Oh, that's probably a bad thing to say. He was getting defeated. The camera moved between picks. That's weird. By the lines in the driveway and angle comparison, camera's position is not consistent with the stationary camera. Oh, goodness. That's worth looking up. Hold, please. Hold, please. Oh. No, I think what happened is they've just zoomed in and they're showing different portions of the static greater image, I think is what's happening. Well, good catch. Good catch. I like the thought process. When I went to Lackland, one of the airmen went with the TI, came back high Air Force high as blank on the weekend. Let's not go spreading crimes. Let that man's crimes lie in peace. You mentioned yesterday how beautiful the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Salt Lake City Temple was. It's been renovated and will be open to the public starting next year, April 27 to October 27. It was truly masterful. I mean, just gorgeous. All their architecture is not so much the little local churches, but the big ones in town. They're beautiful, truly beautiful. I mean, game recognizes game, right? Game recognizes game. That Adidas sweater vest must be worn with your dress vans. See, I didn't even think of that. You nailed it, Julie. Now I got to buy it. This week has destroyed the Fed slop, which we all knew was a lie. Your research is phenomenal. Can't wait for Friday and Sunday. Christ is King. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's show a lot. Maybe you host the Candace show next time she goes on vacation. That should help boost your following. It worked well for Ian. Ian boosts his own following, sir. Ma'am. No. The answer is no. Sweater vest. Oh, no, sir. When I was told I could pair it with my dress vans, it became a yes, a hard yes. And I know you. I know you. I carry half your DNA around with me every day, good sir. But that's a dope sweater vest. It's got checkers. Anyone else interested in an opening statement on the real Baron Coleman? Who is this hoodie-wearing, radio voice, super curious, high IQ man? I would choose as my lawyer in a heartbeat. Thankful folks want to know. Bless you. Thank you, Peyton Ware. That's very kind. I could do that. I did kind of that on a member show. Kind of gave a who am I? But I could do another one. I mean, it's not that exciting. Just me being me. Are we 100% sure both TRs walked there on 9/10? No, not at all. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. Oh, I need to make a note to do that. Run shadow calculator on different days. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. You should interview or be interviewed by Mark's Plane. He interviewed Louisiana Lance yesterday, needs more followers. I intended to have him on a member show, and then I had to switch it that week, and then I've got Zach this week, and I've got, I think, the next 2 weeks scheduled. So I need to get back in touch with him. Hi, Baron. I live in Utah. We'll be at UVU on the 25th of this month. Is there anything you'd like me to look for while I'm there? No. Not unless you got a bomb dog or a boop, 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 boop machine. What are those called? Boop, boop, boop. Metal detector. If so, you know where to go. I'm 22 minutes behind. Grandbabies and all. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. I used to watch Lost in Space. Thank you for all you do. You have no idea how much you are making heaven full. Well, thank you. Thank you. Danger, Will Robinson. I use that sometimes. Interview with Phil Lyman, Fox, 9/11. It's his house. I think the house he was in was next door to that house. But I do believe he's related to the person who has that house. I do believe that. But Baron, first-time caller, long-time listener, just wanted to, just finally reporting for roll call. Would you please greet my brother Daniel a very happy birthday? Thanks, mucho. Christ is King always. Christ is King indeed. Daniel, what a wonderful day to be born. You knocked it out of the park. April 9th. Perfect day to be born. Happy birthday. Oh, guess I started Audigate yesterday. Coach even had a poll on the show about it. Killing it this week, man. I didn't get a chance to watch that this morning. I had no idea Audigate had a poll. That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, we are so far behind. So I'm gonna have to hustle. I might have to skim some of these or answer very quickly. I heard you sing a quick Curious Minds. I'll see your bet and raise you. She's the devil in disguise. LOL, thanks for all you do. Thanks for you. Truly enjoy your shows. Thank you. If you hear me singing, it's never pretty. But yeah, I'd like a for under $10, you cannot be stupid t-shirt and coffee mug, both with the RBP logo on it. Can you make this happen? Thanks for carrying the torch on this CO free week. Good shows. Thank you. Yeah, I can make that happen. I got to put it on my notes. For under $10, you cannot be stupid. Settled. Another amazing show. What a week. Yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. I tell you, we specialize in good weeks around here. Prayers for my military son who's having surgery tomorrow to remove a mass on his jaw that is being sent for a biopsy. Thank you to this high IQ outfit. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I hope they're getting good margins on that because that is not a place you want to mass. I'll definitely pray for him. Thank you. But Baron, perhaps the spy plane was guaranteeing TR safely turning self in. I can't make sense of the precision timing and need of that tech on such an occasion. Otherwise, maybe there are good guys in the mix of things. I doubt it. That's a very generous reading. Mark Levin is small in the Balkans. He's small everywhere. That's the rumor. Micro Mark. I'm just telling you what I hear out on the streets. Just telling you what I hear out on the streets. CK offed because he wouldn't do initiations to level up. Epstein and blockchain, U.S. government and crypto, COVID, JFK, private equity equals CK too high IQ to be a sheeple. Yeah, maybe. What's your movie recommendation? In the bedroom. Wow. I told you. I love it when we get a good recommendation review. Thank you. I am David. Jim Caviezel stars in it. Hey, King B. You're the cheese to our macaroni. Wow. Well, considering I can't have macaroni or cheese, that's amazing. Thanks for going, Max. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I used to love macaroni and cheese when I could eat both. It's one of my favorites. I can't eat both anymore. I can't eat either anymore. In the bedroom's amazing, isn't it? I told you, it took me through every emotion I've ever felt in one 2-hour movie. That you can't know how it ends. So you don't look at a review. If you're ever going to watch it, just watch it. Just watch it. Baron, you cracked me up referring to Dan Bongino as Dan Bongina. Thanks for making my day. Very best regards from London. I call it like I see it. I've enjoyed all your lives this week. Can't wait for tomorrow. What time? Alaska time. Earlier than today? Yes, it'll be 1 p.m. Central time. I have no idea what time that is Alaska time. That would be 11 Los Angeles time. Are you guys on that time? Are you back an hour or two? Maybe 10, 9, 8? I don't know. You guys are kind of way over there. Is Alaska all one time zone? It's huge. I forgot to say Christ is King in my prior 2 posts. Christ is King indeed. Indeed. Hey, Baron, wondering if you're aware that Kash Patel opened the FBI's first New Zealand office, Wellington, New Zealand, on 7/31/25. Interestingly, Valhalla, New Zealand is less than a mile away. Maybe Charlie's there. I don't think he's there. That's what I was referencing when I said Kash was in the area about a month before. So, yeah. The devil sure is in the detail. Correct. Thank you for that very generous gift. If the shadow doesn't fit, you must have quit. Awesome week of shows, Baron and Daisy. Agreed. Better believe Dan Fudd cashed his September 12th paycheck and spent it with no reimbursement for dereliction of duty. 6 months with nobody flipping. They're all in the thick. Yeah. I'm surprised, frankly. I'm surprised. Nobody's flipped. No, I'm not. We need to figure out who gave the ring footage and why they haven't spoken out about the timing. If this is true, this may be part of the plot. I can tell you what house it came from. 912 got in 929 Freedom shirt. Odd I received it with 910 on sleeve. Wow. Specifically selected shirt that didn't have date. Instantly made me feel uneasy about Talking Point EK. Still your best AK supporter, Alaskan supporter. Christ is King indeed. That's an interesting timeline. I'm not sure what you're saying on the timing, though. You got it on 9/29 or you got it on 9/12? Because 9/12 would be very fast turnaround on shipping. If the address is, oh, goodness gracious. Can you find his car now considering their timing? No, I've looked. Please hit that like button, subscribe, become a member. Much love, Baron. Thank you. CK says, may he RIP about the OB with EK on the show. Okay, I need a link. That's the first clue I've been given. Please talk more about Victor Marks. I was swooned by him. This breaks my heart. God bless you and your family. It creeps me out. What are your thoughts on Pentagon's threats to the Pope and Catholic Church and invocation of the Avignon papacy? If true, I'm disgusted and horrified. That's all I can say. That's all I'm willing to allow myself to say right now. I kind of made a deal with myself. I would say no more than that. If true, I'm disgusted and horrified. You want a document? I just sent you the lobbyist reporting form on Salem's employed lobbyist writing legislation and spending dough for his company's objective. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Gate video on Appoint Erica by Def, not whatever 48. Don't know what that means. Dubai may be a great place for an ultra-rich person to escape to and perhaps never be seen again. Yeah, except they're getting bombed. Not that great of a place. So far away from Western society and our media, in my opinion, Michael J. and J.E. are there. I don't know for sure. I mean, wouldn't you stick out like a sore thumb there? You don't look like anybody. Regarding their OB at Backline Brief on YouTube, vid title, You Can't Handle the Truth, time 21:20, is Charlie and Erica Say It. I love the show. Thank you. That's what I've been looking for. What I'm looking for. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll check into that. Trump said after telling Erica to sue that Pam Bondi would return in a secret project. Any connection to this ADF revamping? I hope not. Maybe when all this is over, when TPUSA close their doors, Blake Neff can get a job as a latex salesman with Vandalay Industries. Christ is King. Vandalay Industries. Man, you and Candace have inspired me to go back to church. We'll be going to my local Catholic church on Sunday. We'll be looking to convert. Thank you, Rebecca. That is very high praise indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you're in England too. I received my high IQ sweatshirt today. A high IQ sweatshirt indeed. Hi, Baron. Love your show. Laugh is great. Makes my day go. Max Christ is King. Thank you. Very high praise. I appreciate that. If we had a telescope, could we see the spaceship? I doubt it. Well, you might because it's in low Earth orbit. You got it. Specifically, Dan Flood, Mikey McCoy. I agree. I have nothing IQ to say. Tuning in late again. Book Club. Love your show and your twisted humor. Twisted humor? I sent this too late to read yesterday. TR's DQ hat looks to have the Hurley logo. That's what I thought. Look at Hurley logo online and compare. Sorry if already discussed. I think we briefly mentioned it. Somebody in the comments mentioned it, but thank you. I agree with you. Story of Adi and Ruda, the brothers of Adidas and Puma, is a fascinating story which could make for a great opening statement. Not that you need help. Like to hear your take. Go Max Verstappen. I like what you did there. Adi and Ruda, Adidas, Puma. All right. I'll look into it. I'm not sure I'm aware of it. Maybe New Zealand timing to distract you from obliterating the prosecution timeline. Maybe. I truly appreciate perspective and evidence-based content you bring, Counselor. Praying for your safety, as this investigation will likely have far-reaching implications. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Baron, I was not upset with you, by the way. I'm more mature than that. It's your show. All I can do is ask. No, Harvey, I'm not upset with you, but I can't read a minute 42 email every time someone tells me to read it. Hard to even roll a ground penetrating radar device over a crime scene with giant concrete planters and pot scale. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild? I might have missed it, but has anyone found out more about the RAV4 that got pulled over and flashed the FBI badge? Was that a RAV4 or a 4Runner? I can't remember. I don't have any more information. When they manufacture specific times, it's got to be for a specific reason. Why do they need them there on campus at 8:07, 8:29? What gives? That's a great point. And I don't know what evidence they have of the 8:29 either. Baron, I have had a pull towards Catholicism ever since my dad passed over 2 years ago from overdose. I feel so overwhelmed by it all. Any advice? Thank you for everything you do. You and Daisy are super. So I always recommend to people the book Rome Sweet Home is a good starting point, particularly if they're coming from a Protestant background. I think it's a really good introduction. And Scott Hahn's very readable. It's written at a very readable level. So that would be my suggestion. Rome Sweet Home by Scott Hahn. Very cheap on Amazon. Have you taken a political spectrum test lately? Political compass. Google it. I've personally moved due to recent revelations. It's a good point. I've not checked that out. Those always weird me out, though. I always feel like they're like pushing you somewhere. I had a super chat ready to go that said, since you're a national treasure, now you will be wearing royal purple soon. Then I see lavender, tomato. Blessings to all watching. It's the color of kings. Lydia in the Bible was a seller of purple, probably meaning she was a Phoenician, if we're reading into the Bible. What actual charges could ADF or anyone else sue Candace for? If that's true, then no defamation, correct? Or sneaky BS like little Macron? I think it would be sneaky BS. My guess is they would find a plaintiff and then finance and coordinate the lawsuit behind the scenes. That'd be my guess if I had to guess. But I don't know. Do you have any experience with family court? Not much. What can one do when a judge is severely biased, unfair, and unjust, and so connected to the system above them? You can't go over the head. Needs serious reform. I agree with you, but I don't know. I don't know what can be done. I don't have a lot of experience there. I'm going to have to go a little faster. Because we're way behind. I brought my granddaughter more marshmallows and want to make sure Sis gets hers. Keep going, Max. She did. Thank you. I forgot about the marshmallows. That was a while ago. Looking at the McMartin preschool trial in LA, my DA investigator uncle I told you about said good old Jolly was involved in the failed brainwashed child testimonies. I believe your uncle. That Jolly's a monster. I can say that now that he's dead. He can't sue me. Hi, Baron. It's real upped propaganda by over 700 million for 2026. Oh, our greatest ally did. Any way to find out who's getting money? By the way, you're great. Thank you. First ever Mimbo. And chat, there's always money in the banana stand. Yes, there is. Don't light it on fire. Always money in the banana stand. I have no idea who's getting the banana stand money from our greatest ally. Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington? Is that a trick question? Baron, seeing another Minnesotan here made my day. I'd love to know if you and Candace would ever consider hosting a debate up here in Minnesota. I'd be happy to fund it and host it at my business. That's very kind, dapper dude. What will we debate on? I'd have to think of a thing. I don't know. Great show, great week. Looking forward to members only show tomorrow with Zach Costello, who I also watched. Truth will prevail. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Just want to support the show. Got my Hope Please mug today. About to watch In the Bedroom. Oh man, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat, Tina. Baron, you're so incredibly smart. I'm in awe of the way you think. Wow, I'm in awe of the way you think after that comment. You never cease to blow my mind. So grateful for you. Grateful for you as well, Tiffany. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you for being and having integrity, unlike Gray Hughes and some others. His shadow work has integrity. It's stellar. Keep going, Max, Baron, Daisy, and team. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you for that generosity, by the way. Just wanted to thank you and your work on this case. Your intellect, sense of humor, humility, love for family and Jesus are contagious. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. And thank you again for that kindness. Hit the like button. Don't forget, people, hit the like button. You guys have done a good job of that tonight, by the way. Whoa. Guys, stop putting people's names and addresses on the screen. Please. But I mean, they've been in the news, but try not to do that. Okay, this is a good one. 728, 750, when the S came back on, do those timestamps overlap when the alleged Discord messages were sent? Maybe, perhaps. It would be about 7 minutes off, but it could have been when they were drafted or the idea was come up with. But Baron, concerning the AKs of this, may be told their families may be harmed if they speak. Why they keep the narrative. Love your show. I would agree with that. I would agree that's a possibility. Baron, I've been wanting to do YouTube and talk to people about being a survivor of many years of abuse. I deal with deep insecurities. What would be your advice to get over this hurdle? Just get a microphone and a camera and start making content. You'll get over it quick. If you don't want to release just mark them private and just start recording content. Just start telling, to get comfortable. Before long, I don't even think about the mic. Before long, you won't think about the mic. You won't think about the camera. You won't think about the lights, and you'll just talk. It's like riding a bike. You get better with practice. I encourage you to do it, by the way. You've got a story to tell. Canadian MK Ultra experiments at Allen Memorial in Montreal, pioneered by British Dr. Donald Ewan Cameron, who cited Dr. William Sargent as his mentor. Alan Dulles hired Cameron in 1957. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Baron, love the show. Your humor, your wit, reminding the four lawyers of my family. Any looks into the Doge-like investigation Charlie wanted before he died? Maybe Boyer et al. Hiding shady deals. I think people have tried to look into it. His Majesty Coleman, crazy. I opened YouTube and the first video is Candace Owens' Clips channel talking about Jolly West and Sirhan. Really? I'd never heard it before. I tuned into your live and the same thing. That's interesting to me. I didn't know she had done that. I'll have to check it out. See if I'll have to double check her work. Regarding opening, how does a prisoner confess when he has amnesia? The elephant episode is even more disturbing. As a physician, your first oath is to do no harm. I'm an MD and find his methods criminal. Good. I hope nobody thinks he's anything but. Hope nobody thinks he does anything but being a criminal. Take your wife to Tucson. It's beautiful. Isn't there a fort in Tucson? Some fort in Tucson? Victor Marks and EK's relationship weirds me out. Same, dog, same. I remember when the Big Bang happened, he announced on his IG that CK had passed 20, 30 minutes before it was made public. He deleted it within minutes. Christ is King indeed. I had no idea. Message like a teen because more letters, more money it costs. Oh, I didn't realize you guys got charged by the letter. I'm 40, trying to say thank you in what you are doing. We'll go down in history to show we, the people, know what they are doing. And we are done taking it quietly. Now this costs me even more. I apologize for that. Let's see here. For all those that follow the laws of the Old Testament, do they just pick and choose which ones? How do they atone for their sins? Sacrifices. BK, calling Jesus Yahweh feels like Matthew 7:15. I've said that. Like, you cannot practice Old Testament Jewish faith. There's no temple. Temple was critical. You can't do it. Evening, Baron. Evening. Thanks for for everything. Used to dread days CO took off. Only she was worth watching. Do it daily. Hubs is over the road trucker. I used to be 5+ years. Now I'm full-time mom. God works in a mysterious way. Pray for hubby's salvation, not low IQ, Joe. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Thank you for that. I will pray for his safety. I used to have dreams of being a trucker. I used to want to be a trucker. Sounds fun. Sounds freeing, but I can imagine the stress when you have a family back home. Thank you. King Baron, if I don't see ad fleet version of Blake Neff eating Fed slop with his fast flipper hands, I will not be complete. Hey, people, email Baron like it's 1983. Just don't. Yes, please. Please. Thank you. Great work, as always, Baron. SUBTT left Wichita today at 0650 and landed in Wilmington, Delaware at 10:06. Something to file away just in case. It's been in Wichita overseas since 4/4. From overseas since 4/4. Yes, something to file away in the bank. Our ally made pagers boom via coded message. If the mic was the boom, maybe the necklace acted as intended to trigger it. Via transmission from a plane, or maybe my tinfoil hat is too big. I don't think you can have a tinfoil hat too big these days. All options are on the table. If you liked Moses Turk story, look up YouTube Tomb of the Exodus Pharaoh. What was found and why you don't know about it by Expedition Bible. So thank you. That's a good advice. I like ancient Egyptian stuff. Fascinated by it. I'm doubting TR was ever in Orem. He allegedly told his mom he was homesick on the 10th and 11th. Where was Lance? Best wishes from Scotland. Scotland. Got a lot of Scotland. Highlanders. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. We'll find out. TR has an unusual lip line. Thanks, Linda. I'm going to look for that next time I see photos from the stairwell. We are so lucky to be able to have you as our backbeat country lawyer and your curious mind. What a week. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm aware of Gray Hughes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. May God bless you and yours. Love you and the family from HUAE. May God bless you and yours. Bella Stella. Daisy sounds cute. Is she single? She is not single. She is not single. Quite wedded. I'm not gonna show the Kansas hate. All right. Yahweh defunct the Abrahamic covenant when they rejected his only begotten son. Genesis 3:15. He, Christ, will bruise him, Satan, in the head. They can't pick and choose. So says you. No question. Keep doing what you do, Baron. God bless. Thank you. Thank you. I will do my best. Using a Fed slopper. Gray Hughes to disprove Fed slop is fantastic, and I'm here for it. Thank you. Finally, someone who gets it. Someone who gets it. Whoa. So what I think I saw was a Shaner Broderick connection. Yeah, I think you're right. Lila Rose is part of the Alliance Freedom thing. Alliance Defending Freedom, Lila Rose. That's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. Baron, check out Fox 13 Utah news story tonight about the letter from TR that was described in search warrants. Thank you for going, Max. That's a good tip there. I will check that out. Fox 13 Utah news letter, Tyler Robinson described. Oh. If you're talking about the note that was burned, I'm aware of that, but I'll double check it just in case. I will do this for your son. My son's 26th birthday is Saturday. Help me win our usual bet by saying shyster. Love you. I am not a shyster. I know some people are. Please wear the sweater vest when you interview George. Awesome week of shows. Now that's an idea. That's a very British thing to do. Sweater vest? I'll show up my sweater vest and my just dress Vans. I still got to ask her. I talked to her today and didn't ask her. I got to ask her at some point. It's coming. It's coming. Thank you. Do we know if the life policy paid out to EK yet? No. I wonder if it's on hold until the case is over. Maybe that's why she's strangely asking for a speedy trial. Perhaps. I don't know. As a Catholic, I just have to say it's so heartwarming to see so many people come back home, and many thanks to you and Candace. Thank you. Oh, thank you. It is heartwarming. Sir Baron and Lady Daisy, superb week of absolutely disseminating the Fed slop. You mean dissecting, destroying? Woe to the lying liars that lie. Was 2 hours late, but knew it'd be a banger when Moronicism makes minute 4. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Love you too. Everything I watch you, which is every time I watch you, which is every show, you remind me of my son who lives 900 miles away. He's a DJ, the walking warrior, and uses dope all the time. His other job is a prayer warrior for a ministry. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Dope's a great word. And thank you. That's very generous of you. Thank you, Grams Donna. Too many typos in my previous message. Excuse me, King Bubba Baron. Barely past 5:30 a.m. here. I don't know where you are, but that's awfully early to be watching me. Watch out. You got to watch out watching me that early. Never know what's going to happen. All right, let me see here. Oh, I do have some grumblers. A couple of them. I can't unpin the message. You guys got to stop pinning the message because when you do, I can't read the top one. Wendy, I believe I don't have a card hooked up. Can someone send this regarding the shadow photo appears TR's image was added. The tree shadows are long and correct. That's a good point. I'll check into that. Oh. Let me check something. This is interesting. Don't attribute to me on air. I won't, sir or ma'am. Daily Wire and ADF go way back. I don't know if I can even say the next one without giving it away. They're very intertwined. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you for that. Thank you for that confirmation and that tip. I do appreciate it. That's funny. Hey, guys, guess what? We've made it through another show. We've made it through another week. And this week we have systematically, absolutely dismantled Fed slop, left and right. We'll continue doing more next week. There's more Fed slop to dismantle day in and day out. And the Fed sloppers are nervous. They're calling in support. They're calling in backup. They're calling in air cover. And you know what? I don't care. We're going to win. Like, we've got a job to do, and we're going to stay on it. If you have not yet taken the opportunity to like the video, please do. Don't be one of those people who watches and doesn't like. Click the like button. If you are one of those people who's not yet subscribed, like 24.5% of you who watched yesterday's show are not subscribers. Unacceptable. Just hit the subscribe button. No one's going to know Fed sloppers. You can hit subscribe. That way you know when I'm dismantling the Fed slop. If you are a member, tomorrow's going to be an absolute banger. Zach Costello of the Zach Costello Show will be here at 1 o'clock. Looking forward to that. Been looking forward to that for a couple of weeks now. And so, yeah, I enjoy having you here with me. I used to say 12 hours a week, but it's really turned into more like 16 hours a week. But I appreciate your tenacity. Appreciate your tenacity. Appreciate you tuning in with me each and every week. In the meantime, don't you ever forget. Don't you ever forget. And for those of you who aren't members, I'll be back Sunday night, probably 5 or 6 p.m. Central Time. I don't know exactly which. But even if you're not a member, don't forget, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. Thank you. Have a good night. Get a good night's sleep. Have a wonderful weekend. What have we done? Like day 5 of the Easter season is just getting going, guys. We got like 45 days of Easter left before Pentecost. Enjoy every day of it. Celebrate your risen Lord and Savior. And I'll be back tomorrow for the members and Sunday for everyone else. See you then.